Hey, it's episode 313 or 213. Did I write this down wrong? It's 213, and I put 3.
You're just jumping into the future there, Timothy.
You're on the PS6. It's so crazy. We're not at 60 frames per second yet. We can't get there. It's impossible.
And Game Pass is on the PS6.
And Game Pass is on the PS6. Yeah.
It's also a microchip in our brain.
Microsoft has gone all handheld.
Is a hologram.
It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a microchip in our brain. It's actually Phil Spencer telling us what we should think about stuff.
No, it's Phil. Oh, Phil hacked it.
Phil's in there. Yeah, Phil's all up in there.
We're on the moon again, so we can go to the Mars. We have a space station there.
Yeah, the future is really disappointing, is what we're trying to get at, everybody.
Please take me back to the past.
100 weeks from now, it's very.
We have to go back.
So,
you got to go back.
It's kind of like when you watch stuff in the 80s or 90s that was supposed to be set in the future, and it was like the year 99 or like 2002, and it's like we aren't flying, we're not teleporting, like none of this cool
thanks
stuff.
Back to the Future really screwed the pooch on those date guesses. You know, where's our hoverboards? And I'm not talking the stupid ones that we've got. I'm talking real ones.
The ones that require you to carry like freaking a tank of gasoline or whatever with you.
Right. No, not that one. Yeah,
those are like non-stop.
And when I'm saying hover, like jetpacks, I'm not saying the aqua ones that shoot water. I've seen people break their arms on those. No thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah. They look so cool, but like also terrifying. Like,
no, you're like 30 or 40 feet in the air. Like that's gonna hurt. I don't care how much water is underneath you.
Yeah,
water's not a pillow, you know.
No.
It is not. Hey, well, listen, there's some good news. There wasn't anything major that released this week in the gaming space, which means most of us, I think, had time to either do some non-gaming stuff, catch up on games that we've already fallen way behind on this year, and that's the camp that I'm in. Maybe play some smaller stuff, some games that have kind of been set on the side, or just jump back and play something old, because who cares? I'm just going to play an old game that I love, like my old comfort food.
Hey, yo.
So yeah, instead of going over like all the new stuff, just wanted to get updates from each of you guys. Last week was just me and Jeff gabbing. So Kyle, we'll start with you since we haven't talked to you in a bit, and then Dan, what have you guys been playing the last couple weeks, and what are your updates on like recent games that you've had more time with?
I feel like the thing I've been playing the most is Dragon's Dogma 2, like a lot. I'm like 35 hours into that game. Nice. I feel like I'm at the end because like I got a big like, you might not want to progress right now type of like notifier, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna stop doing that then. There's something about the main quest that I want. Like, I'm not the kind of guy who just does the main quest. I always want to like do all the side stuff, but they structure the main quest in such an interesting way in this game, and it always takes you on some kind of crazy journey across the map that like following it just kind of feels right, you know. And then the stuff that you run into along the way, that's kind of the stuff I just kind of naturally do. But now I'm in a part where I'm going to double back and just kind of complete everything that I missed and everything. This game is really awesome. I really don't know who it's for besides people who played Dragon's Dogma 1. Like, it's so weird and old.
and they like bragged about it too. They're like, it's gonna be guys.
And they're like, we don't want any new fans. You know, and it's like, that's so weird, you know. Like we have like 15 years of like doing things different now, and they're like, no thanks. No quality of life stuff at all.
They're like, Lock On, I hardly know her. Isn't that the joke? Is that the
right?
No?
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right. No, that's right. That's right. Which is crazy. I mean, like everything when I'm playing this game, it's nice, it's breezy. I got a real good feel of everything. But like when I think about like what's going on, I'm like, these are really specific design choices, you know, that they just like did not budge on whatsoever. And I think I love them for it. I don't know. I think that how bold of you guys to just like, we're going to make that game again, but we got like better tech. So we're just going to make the game we wanted to 10 years ago, whenever the original one came out. And I think they nailed that if that's what their end game was, you know. And I'm telling you, like, just the amount of like cool little things where I'm running around and someone's dumb pawn is like, hey, there's like a treasure chest over here. You want me to take you there? I'm like, yeah, I do. That's awesome. Takes me there. And ends up, it might be this long way. Like, it's not just like 30 feet that way. Like, sometimes it's like, I don't know, thousands of feet. And it takes you through like a crevasse or whatever. And you fight all these bosses. And like, I ran into like 3 like major bosses, like 2 armored trolls and like a griffin came down. And I just like stood to the side and watched them all fight each other for a while until like they were like weak enough where I went in and started like picking them off and then killed all 3. And
little touches of Monster Hunter from the Capcom team there.
A lot of Monster Hunter. It feels like
that.
just even like the you using parts to like upgrade and enhance like your weapons, so like that. It's all very Monster Hunter-y in that regard. And even just the really tanky, weird controls that Monster Hunter. Also, Capcom's weird about not budging, right? Like they're just.
Yeah.
We got our engine, like, and we have the way that we like to do stuff, and Monster Hunter has been the same since it came out in PS2.
One.
Like, nothing has changed about Monster Hunter, almost, you know?
Yeah.
Little few things, but like the same kind of controls, and again, this is like one of those weird Capcom tenets that they're just like, no, we nailed it. We're just making it prettier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, people love that first one for. I mean, it's like popular niche. Like it has a really loud following.
Right.
Because of just the specific things that it does, which are quirky, but like they work, you know.
Yeah. Dan, have you been playing it?
No, I'm because I'm so when I get to my part, I'm almost done with 7 Rebirth, but I mean, I love the first one. Like it's just such a quirky, weird game, and like
super
I just
weird,
the fact that you can climb on monsters the way that you can climb on them on that one, like I would imagine it feels even better on this one, like
right. It does, yeah. I mean, just a lot of the gravity and like physics and stuff like that when you're on the monster feels really good. Sometimes like your character will kind of get stuck on them, and you kind of get a freebie.
Sure,
you're like on them, you know.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I got caught like at the very first thing with the Medusa. I got caught between this weird because she's all snake-like and wound up. I got caught in this funky space where her attack wasn't hitting me, so I was just laying there like.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, the camera can be pretty bad in this game. You know, if you get like put up against a wall and you're like, I can't move the camera right to see what I'm doing. Yeah, that can happen again. Like,
hey, how was your character class morphed throughout your playthrough? Have you like?
Man, thank you. Yeah, I started with a thief, and I took that to max vocation. Got to the last capital area with like the best armor and stuff like that. Fully decked out. My thief is like as good as he can get, pretty much.
Okay.
That's when I went back and did Archer to get some of the augments. I hated everything about Archer. Hated it. So awful.
So okay, hang on. When you can switch to a new vocation anytime, with an existing character.
Yeah, anytime you can switch. Yeah, you have to go back to a vocation officer or whatever, but you can switch. And like you really want to focus on one, but like at some point you want to branch out to a second or third one so you can grab those augments, you know. Okay. Which are going to be power-ups that go cross classes, you know. They're static, if you will. And then everything else that you upgrade is just for those classes, you know. And by the time that like you're at in my game, like I could probably buy and upgrade fully every single class. Like this game really kind of just wants you to do whatever it wants to. You're not grinding forever to like get to the end, except for the actual classes of the vocations. But I have so many points I can buy whatever I want to.
That's awesome.
And the skill trees and the not the skill trees, but like the move list and stuff like that you purchase moves from. So yeah, I mean the economy is really interesting. I think you're always scraping by for money unless you're like cave delving, which like a cave could be anywhere. I mean, and they're random. You could just never do one if you don't want to. Or you can delve right into one to get a lot of cash and stuff like that. But if you never do that, you're scraping by. So if like you're not engaging with the economy, like the game is doing nothing to throw money at you. So it's really just about how much you're willing to like push into the game's mechanics is how much like you kind of get back from that.
You don't get a lot of loot. You could just go and sell for a whole bunch of gold.
You do, yeah, and that's how I was scraping by. But like, you just, if you're gonna do multiple vocations and you want to upgrade your pawn completely, because you want to make your pawn alluring, you want them strong and decked out and stuff like that, or no one's gonna choose your dumb pawn, and you want your pawn to get chosen so they can go into other people's games and find other knowledge to bring back to you and stuff like that. I actually upgraded my pawn first before me, always, just whenever I got to a new town.
You're such a selfless leader, Kyle. I've always said that about you.
Yeah, I made Yennefer from Witcher, nice. People are choosing her. It's super awesome, So I think if you make them strong and identifiable, I think people will choose your character. And
Do you choose other people's pawns regularly? Are you going out there and picking?
I have a friends list, and when people on your friends list are free. So if you wanna hire pawns higher level than you have to pay like a rift fee or whatever, which you just kind of accumulate naturally throughout the game. Or if they're on your friends list, they're free for hire. And I have people who are playing way more than me who are like level 45 because I'm level 38 right now. And I could just bring them into my game, and they are OP, man. And it's pretty nice. It makes some fights easy, but it doesn't make the ones that matter too easy. You run into a dragon into this game, man, you could have a level 60 on your team. Like these are hard boss fights, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, he hits you with the Dogma. You know what I mean?
Not
like
from software hard, but like a painably, fun hard. So, without like beating your head against the wall.
Did you go back to Thief then after the Archer experiment?
No, so after that I did the Dragon Spear or the Magic Spear guy.
The Mystic Spear thing looks Mystic Spear.
Cool. It's out of control. It's so awesome.
Looks amazing. The way
I've been really enjoying. I just got that. That's what I've been kind of using today. I'm grinding that out. It's super cool, and I'm going back and hitting all the caves now.
Jedi like in some of the move sets at a glance.
Yeah, you can actually you can pick like people up and throw them, or you can pick up like items around you and throw them at people and stuff like that. And it's all automated, so you pop it and it just does whatever it does to the closest thing to you. So the combat's really slick, man, and all the vocations are completely different. I just really enjoy it. I know y'all two played it a little bit. What did y'all start with?
So yeah, I did the sword and board. I forget the name of the class, but
the knight.
Yeah, the knight where I can use a shield, because the shield actually, even though you can't lock on, it does kind of have an auto lock on to nearest enemy, sort of, when you are holding your shield up and sort of facing them. For the most part, I have found that it kind of keeps track of where the like if you're looking at this little goblin thing and he kind of moves a little bit to this way, I don't have to move anything. The character still kind of aims the shield where the enemy is. So
yeah, nice.
It's sort of a smart lock on without totally locking on. Anyway, so I liked that. That helped a lot. Helps with survivability. So I only played it a little bit last week. I was talking about how it really heated up my PC quite a bit. Like it got really hot.
It is not playing nice with PC.
Yeah,
it's like.
So I'm waiting. I know they've got updates in the works. They very specifically said Steam users and PC players, we've got updates on the way. So as soon as they address some performance issues, and I don't even need it to look or run smoother. It was fine. It was just really cooking my PC. Mm-hmm. The heat was getting way too high. So I haven't played it since then. But I've got other stuff I've been playing, so it's fine. But I like what I played so far. I'm like, I thought I would hate, because I've complained loudly about no lock on in certain games and about not having a good dodge roll, which I know if I pick the wrong class, I won't have a good dodge. But that just means you have to use the shield in a really smart way. And I was like, oh, I really like the way it feels. I also really like picking up enemies that once you knock them down, you pick them up and like throw them off a cliff or throw them into the wall or whatever.
My thief has a like get over here scorpion thing or whatever, and I'll like throw people off ledges all the time with it, and it's so awesome.
It's a little Baldur's Gate 3-ish,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Except this is probably like the 4th best game of this year, so it's no big deal. The bit continues. Everybody.
There it goes. 2024, the year of 4s.
No, I'm absolutely going to play more of this game. I'm just right now kind of committed to 2 other ones, which I'll talk about.
And it is easy just to play the campaign, because like the campaign is the only thing that has like a quest marker. So it's like you always know what to do next. It's just, depending on how hard you want to make it for yourself, how under level are you walking into that situation, Yep. But I do like that, where it's just like, hey, if you're lost, like at least you can go here, which is kind of nice.
I forget what outlet I was reading. It might have been Video Games Chronicles, but I can't remember which one was had an opinion piece on this, talking about Dragon's Dogma 2. It said something to the effect of, if you play it where the game wants you to come meet it, as opposed to like playing it as if it should play like The Witcher or Bloodborne or whatever else it is that you've got in your head that you think it should play like, play it on its terms. It's almost similar to what you hear when people talk about stuff like Elden Ring or the Zelda games, where it's like, come play this game how they have created the terms for you to come play it. Don't play it like it should be something else. Play it like
you gotta check your baggage at the door for sure.
And I
with all these games that you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can come play it the way it wants you to play it, it's one of the best RPG experiences of this generation. Is what I'm reading and seeing.
Yeah. And I've been telling people, if they need a better frame of reference, like you're coming in for Skyrim, what you're getting is Morrowind though. So like that's the kind of like depth and jank and complexity.
Sure.
Whereas Skyrim is like kind of more pristine and like really, really, really user friendly and really like come this way, like this, like Morrowind is just accessible. Like get lost, fuckface, like that's Morrowind's entire philosophy, Hope the guy you just ran into isn't 4 levels too high for you or whatever, like it's just there's just a lot of old school mentality about it, which I think is, and as long as you know that, I feel like you kind of,
I think that lends to the like obtuseness of it, right? That it's almost trying to be kind of like old school but new school, and it's just like not holding your hand, and it's just kind of like, this is the thing we made. Either you like it or you don't. Like it,
and on console, I've had no crashes. I'm Mr. Crash. My PlayStation 5 loves to crash all the time. I've had no crashes on this game.
I didn't know you were having crashing problems.
I've had all the time with every game, you know. But like, it's gotten better. Maybe it's the way I've pulled my PlayStation 5 away from like the wall or whatever. Who knows? You know, maybe it was overheating all those times. But like, no, it runs pretty well, and frames dip, you know, a little bit when you're in town and fighting big bosses, but like nothing to the point where it's too crazy. I've heard some pretty bad stuff like on PC, but I think it's pretty stable on PlayStation 5 at least. I'm sure it's the same on Xbox, you know. But who knows and who cares,
probably
right, guys?
Not.
Who cares?
You mean dead
teraflops suck?
You meant to say dead console.
Teraflops are dumb.
I had by the way, I chose the same vocation that you did.
Yeah,
Kyle.
It's a good starter one.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. Especially because your pawn complements the thief, like, or the warrior. Completely. Like, I mean, because he's ranged basically. And I didn't touch it again since I played like a couple hours of it.
Oh man, whenever you go back to play it, my character is going to be so high level, and she could just walk you through
your
the whole game.
Your pawn is going to just power level you through that whole game, man.
Come this way. Yeah, I mean, she could run you through the whole thing. Yeah.
It was funny, that opening sequence where the NPC is guiding you to that first town right at the very beginning of the game, and as you're going, like, there's, you know, plants or things to collect as you're going, or just looting the little goblins that you fight on the way. This is like the very beginning of the game before you even get to create your first pawn. And anytime I stepped like 1 meter away from a certain radius from the guy, he would stop me because he was talking to you. He'll stop and be like, "Hey, where are you going? Get back here!" Like, it kept getting interrupted. It felt very much like a 10-year-old game in that respect. So I was kind of chuckling about that, where I was just like, man, it's got really hard and fast rules that feel like my experience. I probably played 12, 13 hours of the original Dragon's Dogma and really liked it. Yeah. But some of those things I remember from that game. I'm like, that just feels like Dragon's Dogma 1. And I mean that in like, not as a negative way. It almost feels like charming.
I don't know how to say it in a not negative way, but I don't mean it negatively.
It's charming because it feels dated while being new. It looks good, but it's also like, it's not the best looking game I've ever seen, but it's certainly not ugly. I like the way it looks. So anyway, it's a
cool
really
looking game, but it's a little muddy, you know. It's a little old school looking for sure.
Yeah.
It's just old, man. I don't know. It's just a really weird, comfortable old game.
It's staying installed. I can't wait to see an update come through on Steam because I am absolutely going to play more of that one. I played a little bit more of Rise of the Ronin. This game's okay. Like, it's between okay and good. Anyone who's saying it's better than that,
I'm pretty sure it's game of the year.
Anyone who's saying it's better than that, I'm not going to name any names. Okay.
I'll name them.
I think they're just wrong. Like, this game is fun and it's good for what it is, but I find the open world to be incredibly uninspiring. Like, when I think about a similar setting, it's hard not to compare it to Ghost of Tsushima. And I know they're different games, but they're also similar.
You have to compare them. No, you shouldn't be sorry. They are comparable.
I needed that.
They have to be compared.
Yeah, I needed that permission. I don't know why it was.
It's an open world kind of hard samurai game. Like that's the same thing.
Right. So it's hard for me not to compare the two. And Ghost of Tsushima, I fell in love with it in so many different ways. Not only because of the gameplay, which I loved, and I loved the stealth, the characters and story I found compelling from start to finish, but the open world and the way you explore and the way you can uncover things. I'm not saying it was perfect. There are things about it that I hope and I can't wait to see how they improve on, but it was really, really good. And as you hit different, and I'm sure this has some really cool settings as you continue through the game, but I am finding it less than, like, for example, the stealth element. And stealth is a part of this game, and it's meant to be something you can lean into. Like, the detection is so inconsistent. I've walked right up beside a character who there's no reason they didn't see me, and they didn't see me, and I was able to kill him. There's other characters who I am like several football fields away. I can't even lock onto them, and they spot me and start shooting arrows at me. And I'm like, this doesn't make like. And I was crouched, and like I thought I was behind a bush or something. Nope, I guess not. So I don't know. It's just a little inconsistent. It doesn't feel, the open world experience doesn't feel polished. So as I go to liberate a little village, it can be super fun, and I'm going on rooftops and taking out these snipers, and it's awesome. And then a big fight with a strong enemy at the end of liberating that village, and I like that a lot. The counters I think are super fun. I like the parrying system. Actually, I am finding that I enjoy that.
I actually don't mind it. People always kept on comparing it to Sekiro, which I could never understand. But here it's just a regular one-button parry system, and I think it totally works for me.
And you know what's interesting? The parry is a different button than your block, which at first I thought, this is stupid. No, I actually really like it because you can hold block, and then if you hit the parry button at the right time, it will actually do the parry. Or it's actually an attack button as well. The parry is actually kind of a secondary attack, the triangle. And so, okay, maybe you'll attack and take damage, but it's not like a failed. Like if it's a failed parry when it's your block, you do nothing. Like if you fail it, too bad for you. And so I don't know. I like the setup of this. It's pretty clever, but I am finding the open world parts to be. I don't want to insult it. It's not bad. It's just uninspired. It just doesn't feel super compelling compared to other.
Does it feel like it was like, oh, we're gonna do what we normally do, like what that developer does, which is great combat, but they just were like, but I guess we have to do an open world version of what we do. Like,
it could be that.
I think it's obviously them chasing like the Elden Ring, because like Neo was like on like, I'm not saying it's as good as Dark Souls, but like people kind of hold it in a pretty high regard. You know, one of the better like Dark Souls style games. So I think this is just like, okay, we're gonna do our Elden Ring now, and I don't think it panned out as well as they maybe hoped it would.
Yeah. That being said, there are moments where I'm riding around on my horse, and the landscapes can look really nice. And then, like a lot of games that don't quite have that top tier of production budgets, you get up close or some certain areas, it's like, all right, that's a little grainy. You know, that's a little. Those textures there aren't done. But then you get to other areas, and you're like, doesn't matter. This looks really pretty. I like this. Like there are certainly very appealing elements to it. It is a little odd that the smaller enemies all have different. It's not odd, I guess. Maybe it's more realistic. They all have different patterns to their attacks. So as much as I like the combat and I do like the parry system, I almost always have to take a couple of hits to figure out their rhythm, because almost every small enemy is different. It's not like you can see a guy who has a spear and you know his pattern, which that's probably too video gamey and old fashioned, and the way they're doing it is probably more modern because each individual fighter is going to fight differently.
Sure.
So I don't know, that part of it can be a little frustrating though, when you're trying to be awesome and go through villages without any problems and you're getting hit.
Just drop that bad boy down to easy. You're super awesome in that game, man.
There you go.
Very,
awesome
very,
again.
very awesome. Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So I like this game. I think it is good. I like it better than stuff like I like it better than the Neo games. So if I had to pick, I'm going to play one of the games that this team made, I would absolutely play this. So it's one of my favorites of the ones this development team has made.
I really like the time and the setting of this game, which is going to be the only reason I come back to it. Is like I want to be a samurai during this time. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
And the opening kind of how you get your main character versus who your blade twin is really intriguing, and like I'm curious where that's going to go. And
Matthew Perry shows up.
His name is Matthew Perry.
It's a real historical guy too. Yeah.
It's just Matthew Perry.
Not the guy from Friends, but I guess
it is funny to read that though, from like knowing it's like a Japanese developer, and they're like, what did they have against Matthew Perry? Was he racist to Japanese people? Why is he a bad guy in this?
Well, what you don't know is at the beginning, you fight Matthew Perry, and then right before you kill him, Joey Tribbiani jumps in and defends him.
How you doing?
Yeah.
The Italians are
right. He just starts hitting on the female.
He goes, "How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?"
So anyway, Ronin is a solid. Did anyone else play any more of it? I know a few of us had played it, but okay, not a whole lot.
I played it for
more
like 2.5, 3 hours, and I was like, I gotta get back to Dragon's Dogma. I can't.
Totally fair. Totally fair.
That was me with Dragon's Dogma. Like I played those 2 hours of Dragon's Dogma 2, and I was like, I can't do this and Banishers and Rebirth at the same time.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
crazy.
Don't get me started on Final Fantasy VII, where I'm just like, I gotta get back to that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Rebirth, so Jeff and Dan can share their updated thoughts. Of course, we're keeping it spoiler-free, folks. Once at least a few of us on the podcast here complete the game, we will do a spoiler cast and dive deep into all of the stuff. I don't think any of us have finished it yet, though, right?
Close.
I am about 3 hours away from finishing.
Okay, so you guys are
closer. I'm not that close, but he's closer.
All right. So what are your updated thoughts, Jeff and Dan especially? But Kyle, I'm curious to hear what you think too. And then I've got some additional thoughts. I've been playing a bunch this weekend. But what do you think, Dan and Jeff?
Kyle, you were, I think, ahead of us for a while there. Did you finish it? Or?
Yeah. No. I'm back at Golden Saucer.
12.
Okay.
Chapter
Okay.
12.
Chapter 12. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's where I'm at.
16. Is that how many there are?
14.
There's 14.
I'm at the very end then. I'm assuming.
Yeah. So I'm on 13 right now.
Did you do any of the side quests that open up on the other regions at the start of chapter 12?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Okay, because that's what I'm doing. I'm still cleaning up the map, and then I'm gonna move on. Yeah.
That's what I did. I cleaned up the map, and then now I'm at Golden Saucer.
And it feels like this is the last batch of side quests you're getting, and then you see the game through to the end because there's no more regions after this.
Like when you get to that moment and you're like, dude, I'm in the end game now. You can kind of feel it. They're talking about borders closing and stuff like that. You know, that's the dumbest spot to stop a video game. And like I feel nothing but like weird and angry that I'm doing something else.
You're so far with Dragon's Dogma 2 that it's like, I'm at
the same exact spot in that game.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it makes me crazy.
So you guys are probably all going to finish it this week. Is that fair to say? Possibly.
Yeah.
I
play it, maybe. Yeah.
I literally didn't game at all this week until today, so it's probably not possible for me. But
so, without spoiling anything, Dan, is 14? Since you're only a couple hours away and you're on 13, are you assuming the last chapter is not very long? Like it's kind of like a wrap up cutscene or something like that, or like what if these end up being like gigantic, huge pieces of content and we're all not aware of it?
Yeah.
So I think I'm at the.
What if there's 20 hours
I'm close
left
to the end of chapter. I think I'm close to the end of chapter 13. Like basing it, like, and again, I'm trying to like sort of like base it off of like the location of where it is versus like, you know, back in OG7. It's not one for one because weird shit's happening in this game, guys. Some wacky shit's happening in this game.
Yeah.
Curveballs.
I just like every time I see certain people, I'm like, what? I never know what's going on with certain, you know,
and like where they're popping up to, and like you're not supposed to be here. Like, what's going on? What are you doing? But yeah, I think I'm close to being done. So I guess maybe like if I have 3-ish hours left, I mean, cutscenes and everything involved, like maybe the last chapter is a couple hours then, or maybe an hour and a half or something. I mean,
remake was like telling me the last chapter is one boss fight in several phases, and then that's it. Like a couple hours.
You played a video
remake was like 6 boss fights in a row.
I was just gonna say it could be like 18 boss fights there, Jeff. So.
Yeah, that's what they did in remake.
I guess depending on the franchise, sometimes it can be that way. Final Fantasy is like that, so you know, like Final Fantasy, other Final Fantasy games.
Right. But I don't know. My mind's all over the place. So I think I'm pretty definitively set on like I really enjoy story-wise what's going on. And again, I've mentioned before, I do like the curveballs a lot because it's just kind of throwing something in there you're not expecting. And you're like, cool, I'm here for that. Like that's what you were doing in remake, throwing a few of them in there, and I'm like, that's cool. And they're doing even more here, and I'm for it. I think I'm not like, so this isn't like I'm marking like a whole point or two off of the whole score, but there's too much to do in this game. There is 100% too much.
I wanted you to say it because I wasn't
Tried to tell y'all not to celebrate the mini games, but okay.
Knock it off. Like,
so Dan, let me like walk me through a little bit. Like, what are some of the examples of like, is it too many of each activity type? Is it too many activity types? Like, what is it that they have that's too much?
I think it's more the latter, personally, but
like too many activity types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far? And they're all repetitive. Every activity type is repetitive.
Yeah, and then there's like more. There's various phases or matches or whatever.
So I was trying to ask Tim, what chapter did you get to? Just 2 or 3? I forget.
No, I'm in chapter 6. I'm at the beach.
Oh, okay.
Resort.
So okay.
Oh nice. Man, that score is amazing.
So then you have a good gauge of.
So fun. I'm in a very fun like Mario Sunshine.
That's the Yakuza part of the game where you're running around Hawaii doing mini games, pretty much.
So I'm at a very, very happy part of the game, and I really dig. Even chapter 5 on the boat, I thought was a very happy part of the game. So like I really am digging the spot.
How'd you do in the tournament?
Crushed it, dude. Queen's Blood.
Loved it. Love you.
Queen's Blood. Just now, I'm waiting for the wall where I can join in the chorus of "I hate this game" because I see it everywhere. Like I hate Queen's Blood.
Yeah.
So far I haven't lost a match yet. I'm freaking loving this.
Well, that tournament humbled me in the last round because the other player had these amazing cards I've never heard of in my life. I cannot buy them. So I kept getting decimated by these insane plays. It was like, there's no way that's in your hand. This is complete bullshit. So I got really mad at that last.
I totally get it. And you can get unlucky. There's been a couple times that I've right at the start, like I'm just gonna restart even after the mulligan. I'm not
I know what to look for now too. Like I'll know within a move or two. I'm like, this is not gonna go my way.
Yeah, this is screwed.
But I've got 3 different deck setups, and if one doesn't work, I'll switch to the other one. Like just have different.
I do like you can favorite a deck and be like this.
Yes,
is
so I really
for this round. Yeah,
I love this. Like I loved Gwent too. So like I am fully in on Queen's Blood. Really dig it.
I know, knowing what I know about the, like, would I be able to go back and play Gwent now? Because I'm really good at Queen's Blood, which is crazy. Never thought that was going to happen. And it was because of the tournament, losing at it so hard. I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and I'm going to learn how to play it. And I haven't lost a match at since, except for the couple of restarts. You know
what I don't like? I don't like the puzzles, and I know what you guys are talking about. Like when you get and like it's like you have a limited set of moves and try to solve it. Like I understand what they're doing. It's very similar to. I've talked about Clash of Heroes, that Might and Magic spin-off game before with you guys, where you got to stack the units and then they go attack. Anyway, they have puzzle challenges too, where it's like you have 5 moves to figure. You have to do it one exact way. There's only one solution, and you have to do the 5 moves in the right order. This is similar to that, with the puzzle versions of Queen Blood, and I just kind of found that to be. That's not as fun for me, but I understand why.
That taught me how to play the game. I took that knowledge there and brought it back, and
I get that. Yeah, I get that.
Which obviously everyone processes differently, because for me, like, I basically have had the same deck and like for a while, and like I definitely lose because like my deck is like very like, I guess, it's offensive.
There's a lot of
racist. So bad. It's so bad. Yeah. There's a lot of racist cards.
Yeah, very very racist card. So because that's just my style. Like I don't use the ones where it's like, oh, this destroys this card, which then powers up
the negative
this card.
Points. Yeah,
like that stuff. My brain just can't
those.
Really like go there. Like
those are clutch cards for sure.
Yeah,
there's like 2 or 3.
I mean, I have like a couple of them, but.
There's 2 or 3 cards that I absolutely, my whole entire like tactic relies on just those cards.
Sure.
So like, if I don't see them in my first deck of or my first pools, like I'll cash in the whole, pool to like try and like secure those cards. Just at 10 out of 15 cards, it's not.
The one that gave me the final 2 wins both times was the Shiva card, where you play that and then any empty spots that you've claimed. So like every single pawn spot has a 2. Like she just like spawns these little icebergs all over, and any empty spots that have your pawns. So I just try to build up the pawns. So if you have 3 on each, it adds a 6 to each of those. So if you just build up pawns and just kind of make a beeline and try to block them from going too far, then you just drop Shiva and boom, it just fills out the whole. So that got me through the last 2 rounds of the tournament.
She's helpful.
Yeah, it was awesome.
But yeah,
especially the very final unexpected challenge you get at the end of that tournament, which, I mean, that was so funny and so stupid.
It was dude. It was so freaking.
There are
fun.
some good laughs.
Oh my god,
one, man!
Yeah.
I've had some genuine laughs.
Yeah, I legitimately just started like. At first, I was like, "This is dumb," and then as that scene plays out, and we won't say it just because it's funny to be surprised by it. But as this character is doing his thing, I was just like, "This is so funny. This is so stupid," and I started laughing.
Well, I was waiting for that to happen.
I just started giggling. I was like, "This is so dumb."
I was waiting for that to happen because that technically happens in OG. It's just not that scene because it's not the same circumstance. Yeah, it's not the same circumstance. But like technically, that character is also in that situation of So I was like, this better happen or I'm burning everything to the
outfit and everything.
So,
yeah,
and they delivered like in spades. So. But I was trying to ask Tim where you were at, because basically what I was trying to surmise is like, so you've gotten the whole like notion of like, oh, you're looking for the life springs, you're doing like a chocobo thing, you're looking for the summon caves, like you're doing all of those things in every region.
I haven't.
So that's where the repetition comes.
That's what you're doing.
I haven't done all of them in every region already, and I know I'm not going to finish one. But yes, I'm aware of like the different types of activities.
Yeah, by the time I got to Gongaga, which is the third to last. It's the third to last, I think, region, because then there's like not Cornell. That's where Andy went to college.
Cosmo Canyon.
Take that sweat.
Coral. I guess Coral's right before it, but yeah, Cosmo Canyon, and then
Coral.
Area.
Sorry, yeah, Coral. Yeah.
There's another area after Cosmo, isn't there? I thought there was. Anyway.
Nibelheim.
Thank you. So like, there were some activities in Gongaga that I was like, oh, I'm not going to finish this, and I think it involved.
So you and I hit the same exact point where I started feeling it in Coral, the area before, where I'm just like, I don't know how much left I don't know if I can go to another tower.
I don't have the endurance.
I honestly
for this.
don't know if I can go to another tower.
Yeah.
Like I'm just.
Was it a little bit Assassin's Creed Valhalla where it's like too much? It's too much.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that game is literally endless. Rumors
but there
are
were things
still
I was just
going
like
on,
ruining, where it's just like, well, I have to go fight this alpha version of this thing, but I'm gonna kill 17 of those things along the way to get this thing. So really, I just walked over here for no reason, other than to check a box off. And so the second I hit Gungaga, I was like, no more of that. No, like I had like hard nose where I'm not doing that. I'm not going to do that anymore. And that doesn't feel good because I want to play everything this game has to offer.
It does feel kind of bad. I hate it. My OCD is like out of control with this part. But like, I'm just so mad that I see the 0 when you look at the world map. It says 0, 1 or 1 out of 4. Like it's mainly the phenomena intelligence phenomena, whatever they call that part, where it's like
intel.
Intel. Well, it's all Intel.
The proto relics is the proto.
Yeah, the proto relic.
I'm done. Yeah. Done.
So,
those are never evers for me.
So
the Moogle mini game. Never ever.
No,
not doing that.
The Moogle I got
too.
But it's all worth it though.
No,
That's the thing.
I don't give a shit.
The Moogle tree, I did 3 of those, and then the 4th one was impossible. So I think
that's exactly where I was. Where I'm like,
never doing these again, ever.
Nope.
And then the one that's in Gungaga involves Cactar, and I was like, I can't figure this out. By the 3rd one, I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then after that, I basically do the first one, and I just see what it is, and then I go, okay, I'm good.
I'll do every side quest.
I do 1 of each thing, and that's it.
I'll do, but like I'm not checking stuff off the map anymore. I just can't. Like I'm just like,
what if this was
I don't want to
your
end
only
this game
of the
going
year?
good. I'm so glad this is over. I don't want that feeling when I end.
I'll be honest. I'm clearing literally everything else out. It's just like the proto relic. I'm pretty much done. I'm not going to do that anymore. And the Moogle tree, I'm not doing that anymore.
Just saying no. He'll see it on the map and say no.
And then, and then if a side quest pushes back a little too hard, like there's one where it's like, hey, you need to pressure an enemy, and I'm too stupid to figure that out. And I could never figure it out. I tried to fight like 7 times, and I was like, I can't do this.
Literally told you last time, Jeff.
I know, and I just didn't bother going back to it. And I don't care about the story.
No, you got to assess the enemy, which I get is like a whole thing. Like, oh, I got to assess the enemy every time, but it's like, but that's how you figure out what their weaknesses are.
Right.
You
have to interrupt.
Can you
have to interrupt a move to pressure them, right?
I think you can. I think there is an auto. Is there an auto assess?
Can you auto assess? Is that a thing that opens up later, or do you always have to do it? Okay.
It's the materia. You use the assess materia.
I just didn't. I just know if there was a way, like,
Yeah.
At some point to give it to another character and just let them cast it automatically as a battle starts every time.
That'd be
No,
so cool
I just
fully
switched to
maxed out one.
That's fine. I was just curious.
But yeah, as soon as I get a quest, and I don't think there might be another side quest too. I think in Cosmo Canyon where they're like, "Hey, look for these dead life springs. We're gonna try and find some residual whatever."
Sure.
And he gives you like I described it last week. He gives you like a bad drawing, in my opinion. And he's like, go there.
Nope, those are all
no's
for me.
I could not figure out. By the 3rd one, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like,
no, those are big no's for me too.
Yeah.
Anytime where someone's like, here you go. And you know what, to be fair, that's a no in any game ever.
Right.
Because Elder Scrolls Online does this too, where it's like, hey, here's like a 4-year-old drew this map.
Sure.
Go here and like go to the X, and I'm like, I don't even know where how big this world is.
Even
like,
my favorite game of all time, Red Dead Redemption 2, has that. Here's a treasure map, and I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just like it's like
inventory.
It's like a sketch of a landmark. Banishers does this too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love this game. I hate your treasure map thing because it's just like
find
where the 2 trees are sitting by a river, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
That's why whenever I play Sea of Thieves, I let everybody else do that part.
Oh, what'd you say,
Jeff?
Like,
I'll drive the boat. You guys can do that.
Right. Is it just loot in that game?
It's mostly a lot of money and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. So I know whenever I come across those.
I mean, it'll be stuff to help you. It'll be like really high level stuff to help you upgrade gear, maybe.
Oh, okay.
So it'll be that kind of.
I'll just get those when I get.
There's been a couple times that it's given me a cool outfit. So that's nice. Like when you get like one of his glowing like red Banisher outfits that's got like the runes that glow on it.
That's cool.
All right, I'll take that.
Got to be able to dress your ghost up real nice.
You gotta look
I'm
really
just kidding.
good.
I know you can't change her.
I mean,
Dan, and really for the other 2 of you too, but also Dan, when it comes to Rebirth, you just heard us. We all kind of ranted and joked, but also being somewhat serious about when you can get overwhelmed by open world stuff. But it's a little different for guys like us who always have other games to play. Like, what if what if you're the average person who's like, oh, sweet, a new Final Fantasy game, and you haven't bought a game since maybe Spider-Man, and maybe you're not planning on buying another one because you don't know what else is coming out until like Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't this be actually pretty freaking awesome to have plenty to do? Or is it just poor design just because it's too repetitive?
It's a couple things, because it's either that where you're in the boat of like, oh, I got so much to do, this is like worth the money, which is great, but it is also like, so for me personally, because I love story so much in a game, and it's the most important thing to me, and this is Final Fantasy VII specifically, I find myself, it's like, it's two things clashing, is my OCD and then wanting to know what's going to happen next clash together. And I'm like, shit, I just spent like 20 hours doing side quests. I want to get to the story, but I also want to do the side quests because I know I'm getting things that beef up my characters, that make them stronger. I'm getting weapons, I'm getting accessories. So it's like, it's all important. And it's not that I'm necessarily not having fun doing the quests. It's just there's too much.
Yeah.
So then I get sidetracked and I want to know what happens next. You know, it's the two things conflicting with one another.
I hate not knowing what happens.
Does this game have a new game plus?
Yeah.
I don't think it has a new game plus. Like, it has some sort of like, you can go back to a point,
or the chapter
finals, like a final save.
But like with your build that you had at the end of the game, I believe.
Yeah, like a final save before the no return, maybe.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a good game to compare it to Spider-Man, because the people with that 35-hour game said that game had too much side stuff and like repetitiveness and stuff like that, and like this game is way more egregious than that. You know, so like it is more good if the content's just kind of like, you know, middling or repetitive. I kind of feel the same way as Dan, where like I'm having fun engaging with it, but like when at a certain amount of hours between huge story beats, you're just kind of like, I gotta get back to like what this game's about.
Yeah,
like, I can't chase down one more baby chocobo to a bus stop. I can't do it. I can't do it.
They're so cute.
They're so cute, and they're so
and I gotta
helpful.
pet them.
They're so cute, and they can't get that last little bit of that eggshell off their backs, and it's just like
that's what what is that? I still don't know
what it is. Like, they just hatched.
It's the eggshell, and they're not.
But why is there like a leaf hanging from it? There's like a leaf.
Because they're growing pot on the back of these eggs.
That's right.
Okay, sure. All right.
Tim's up on the lore. That's right.
Yeah, that's chocobo lore. Come on, Dave.
All right. I mean, well, I'm wearing a suit. I don't know what they're doing, getting doobie smoky, but yeah.
So I'm playing this game a lot more this weekend, and I love when a game puts me through the ringer in a certain way. When it really stretches me and makes me like just ticked off, and I'm not having fun, and I don't care about the story, and I don't care about the franchise, I'm out, like out. But when I love the story and the franchise and the characters and the visuals and the open world, like if I love enough of it, pieces of it that are driving me crazy will make me vent like I did to you guys in chat, but they don't make me roll up my sleeves and be like, I'm gonna figure this stupid game out.
Exactly. Like me with the Queen's Blood parts of the story, basically.
I'm like, I'm just gonna figure out this dumb game and its stupid content.
Stupid, poorly designed, bad design, bad game design,
combat.
not my fault.
I hate the combat. And so then I just take a deep breath and play it. Like I just said with Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm gonna play it how it wants me to play it, not how I want to play it because of a remake, or because of Final Fantasy 16, or because I need Elden Ring, or anything else that I've played that I've liked that I want this to play more like. I'm just going to play it how it wants me to play it. It wants me to assess. It wants me to swap characters. It wants me to do all these things that are kind of like remake. But I think, at least the normal difficulty, it's much more complex when you do everything it really, really wants you to do. It wants you to really focus on pressuring, which is a huge strategy piece on normal difficulty. So, Dan, you're so right on this, on the pressuring piece. When you take the time to read, like, okay, I need to do this. That way they activate their super powerful move, and I need to watch for that, because if I dodge it, I can stagger them in like 3 hits. And then it's like game over. That fight's done. As opposed to, I've used up all my Phoenix Downs and high potions trying to survive just by hitting square over and over again. So it's exactly what I knew it would be, but it still was really frustrating because I kind of wanted it to be something else. But it's not that, and that's okay. It's not my favorite combat system, but I feel like I'm getting in the groove of what they want me to do, so I'm going to do it. And there are times when it feels really satisfying, and there are times when I know some people have said, I don't want to do all this dumb side stuff, get me to the next fight. And I'm kind of liking a lot of the side stuff. Like, I like both. I am liking the combat more, but I really do like the dumb mini games, like the Red 13 Rocket League mini game they have you do, like dumb stuff.
Sure. I love the amount of mini games are very fun.
Absolute dog shit.
Dude, I won first
I love
place.
Rocket
I want to
League,
kill
right?
myself playing that
Dude,
game, and I
I
don't
won-
You know
ever
won
the,
play
first
the
place.
vacuum one where you vacuum up Mako? That's the best one.
Oh, yeah,
We all love that. We all love that one.
When you do the Zamboni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be the dumbest thing anyone's ever made me do in a video game. It's got to be.
Okay,
It's got to
so
be up there.
I want to say
Dragon
all
a
the
can.
positive things because I think this
Dragon-
game is gorgeous and I think it's
Yeah.
worth all the praise that it's getting. And yet, some games can't figure out all the different types of movement they want you to have. So like there are times when I'm riding the chocobo and I'm like, why does this control so stupid? Like when I hit like some rock or some turn or something like, and like the momentum that they've built into this game, it's
Yeah.
frustrating to the level that some people experience with Red Dead Redemption 2, where if you get used to it like I did, I was like, that didn't bother me. It was great. I loved it in that game. But people who really got annoyed with it, I could kind of understand why, because I felt like Arthur was either walking as slow as a man could walk, or he was sprinting and like breaking down doors. I'm like, I didn't want him to do that. Like it's like give me something in between. And so
You
this
gotta
game has a
charge
little
in.
bit of that momentum. Like even with the little segways that you're riding around, I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to break every table
Those-
in this town.
Those are comically
Everything
bad.
just
Like,
flying
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those are nitpicks. But there are certainly moments where I'm like, I don't. My character or whatever is not going where I want it to go.
Like-
It doesn't feel. Sometimes the navigation feels a little off, but
I really appreciate the level of detail, especially in that first area. It just and how it ties into the Titan thing too. How they're talking about like, oh, Titan in
cool.
this region and why it's so jaggedy and everything. And like you're looking and like, yeah, like it looks awesome and it's so cool and layered. But when you're trying to run around on the chocobo, I know exactly what you mean. It's just like you'll hit like a corner of a of a cliff in a certain
Witcher
way,
3.
and the chocobo freaks
Yeah, Witcher
out
3 is
and
a
you're
good
like, shit,
example.
my momentum is like. So yeah.
Hey, to be fair to everyone listening, Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's
Yeah.
got to be in my
That
top
game is
5. I don't know where.
notorious.
And it has one of the worst hit detection things with what we're talking about. When you're on a horse and you're rolling and there's a little handle of a cart that's sticking out like quarter of an inch and your whole momentum just stops and you're running in
It's
place.
just like
It's just like, well, okay.
plants all floor, yeah.
Okay.
Video games be
Yeah.
video gaming. I
Video
guess.
games be
Yeah,
video
yeah.
games.
Like that's the one time I'm like, clip. It's okay.
Just cliff.
Clip.
Yeah,
it's
just,
just-
it's
just
fine,
one
it's
time.
fine.
Can you
Every
just
other
be
time
cool?
I never want to see it ever, but this time,
Please.
all right, yeah.
Please
I gotta
Twitch,
get back
be
to
a
the-
less better made game, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
do love the
um,
game too. My gripes that
Yeah.
sound very specific and very passionate is because I love the game so much that the
Yeah.
things that
Oh,
make
yeah.
me mad make me
These
go,
are really specific.
this should be perfect. Like,
They are
I
very
don't
specific
know.
gripes.
Yeah, all of our gripes have been very
Yeah.
specific.
Dude,
and again,
like,
like not
I've
holding
adapted the
back from
combat
anyone's
super
enjoyment.
well.
it
Like
seems
I love the combat so much. I switch so much. I love it. Just
Yeah.
feels so kinetic. If you let it be that way. And like the story's nutty as shit. Like I mean it. Because I don't know any. I mean, I watched a recap, but I didn't live this story when the
Sure,
first game came
sure.
out, original one. So like,
And
there's
it's
a part
preposterous
that goes
too. Like,
underwater that I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? Like,
Yeah.
I just that's when it dived really deep, pun intended, I guess, into the fantasy side of it, even more. And I'm just loving. I'm loving the main
and it's
story.
preposterous. It's very anime, and like the stuff the
Yeah.
characters do and say. It's very charming. Like it really captures the spirit of the original, in my opinion, while being new. And I love that.
I
about
totally
I wish-
agree with that.
I wish Johnny was a party character, but that's neither here nor there.
Johnny.
I think Johnny's the best.
Goddamn.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
Johnny.
great.
I think Johnny's the best
Johnny's the
character ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In all of Final Fantasy.
Sure. Yeah, bro. It's a 100%, bro. Bro.
Yeah,
Come
bro,
on,
bro.
dude.
Bro.
For real, bro.
Come
Yeah.
shimmy by
He's
this wall
exactly
to come
where
to my
he
hotel.
belongs, all right, on the beach,
Yeah.
bro.
But yeah, I just, and yeah, as I'm approaching the end, I'm like, I'm thinking of things in my brain, and I'm like, I'm getting concerned because I'm like theorizing stuff in my brain before the game's even over, and I'm like, shit, man, like if they do this thing, because it kind of seems like maybe they're gonna do it, I'm like, I don't know, guys, like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna freak out. Freak out.
By the way, real
Um,
quick before we move on from this game, Dan, is the third one going to be called Reunion?
No, because Crisis Core, the remaster is Reunion.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
that
I
would
thought
have
it
made
was
sense if they
Reborn
didn't
or
use that.
Something.
I don't know. Revengeance.
Vengeance, yes.
I just know that the
Yes.
action movie.
the hooded guys
Revolution.
keep walking around, and they keep saying
Oh, yeah.
Reunion over and over again.
Well, right.
And I know that
Yeah.
that part of the story and what it's about. But
Had it not been for Crisis Core, I think that would have been a slam dunk
Right.
game for the third game. For
Totally,
sure.
totally.
I
don't know
also
what's
think they're
going
going
on
to turn around that third game lightning fast. I think like in 2 years we're gonna be playing that.
And there's gonna be so much open world stuff to do.
They're gonna be making it most of the same. I mean, because the Rebirth took so long because of the wide open space areas.
Well, all the assets are done,
the maps are so different. Like
copy
so
and paste,
different.
whatever.
Just literally copy and paste your assets, guys. Give it to us by Christmas. Thank you. I've spoken.
3 is just going to be DLC that you download. And it's just gonna
what if 3 is just world intel missions? That's the whole. Just Chadley.
It's just proto relics. I'm not buying it. I'm out. I actually don't care about what happens with Sephiroth at that point.
Honestly though, it's a shame that you guys haven't fully because there actually is a really cool like homage to something involving the proto relics, and it's actually like pretty amazing.
I just wish it were like fun.
It's just not expect. Yeah, it's just something I wasn't expecting, and
that's Square's
it's
fault,
just it's really cool, but
make it funner. Make it better.
Funner. I will look
funner
it up
fantasy. How about that? I think
funner
about that
fantasy.
All the time.
Okay.
Jen, like I've had just about enough of this.
Okay.
And after all of these,
after all of these pretty harsh gripes at points, we're still gonna be like, yeah, game of the year, whatever. Game of the year.
Well, we haven't said anything.
I don't think anything that I've felt, and maybe if I've said it, I'm totally like saying this in a lighthearted way. So anything I've said, and I think everyone here is very lighthearted about the criticisms of this. Everything I've felt has been like, how could this not be an instant game of the year contender? If nothing else blows us out of the water, how could it not be the instant winner? Like, it's so good. It's so good. So don't get anything that we're saying wrong with like, oh, they hate it. No, we don't. We
haven't critiqued it really since the game came out. So
I mean, there's no other game that's come out this year that has Dio in it, so it's probably gonna get game of the year. I'm not gonna lie, guys.
That's right.
I'm
like I think I'm 18 or 19 hours or so I've played it. So I played a healthy amount and really tried to take my time with it. But I'm not going to do all the open world stuff either. But I didn't do that with games that I absolutely love.
I didn't do that with Red Dead Redemption 2. And I even like Kyle and I were like, I don't know that I was on the podcast yet at that point, but Kyle and I were messaging about it, and we were literally doing the same thing of just riding our horse from one part of the map to the other at a certain point in the game, just to free up the map completely. Like,
I'm like,
I left a lot of stuff behind in that game.
And we were talking about stuff we were finding along the way, which was really fun.
I still watch videos to this day where people are like, "Did you see this?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah. And TikTok too. I'm like, there was even more alien stuff.
Everything in this game.
What? Like, that's crazy.
I don't think I've only 100%ed games a few times, like very few times in my life.
It's only been the recent Spider-Man games for me consistently, as far as like consistency goes.
Yeah, I think I did it with the remaster on the PC with the Spider-Man. What was that one with the Death's Door? I did it with that one. That's not a very big game, but
nice.
I 100%ed that one. I loved that game.
Wow.
Anyway, hey, Rebirth is awesome. Real quick, let's touch on the Unicorn Overlord. I've been playing that a lot more too. I feel bad that it's not higher up the best sellers rankings. This game deserves to be purchased by more people, and I really hope that they make more. This is a really, really excellent game.
So good.
I love the way you even wander around the world and can take side missions, and the way you upgrade stuff and find items and can get randomly attacked. It's one-off battles, and if you lose, you get transported back because it's like, hey, you're not strong enough to take this unit out. And so like you have to it really encourages you to power up your characters more and to make your units stronger, allow them to have more, make each squad have more units in it, level them up, give them better items. It's so good, man. It's just
I'm hitting
really
Reddit constantly, like trying to figure out unit setups and stuff like that. And
so many good ones.
So better at this game than I am.
Same.
It's a cool community. I've never posted on Reddit ever, but I will go there for information and like how nice everyone's being to each other about like, no, you got to put this guy here. Here's a picture of it. Like, this is where I have this guy in this square and yada yada, and this is what you use him in what situation.
Yeah.
And I'm actually shocked how like deep the mechanics are in the game.
And then like giving them certain weapons that will maybe sap the enemy, maybe have a thief because you need to steal so you can make money, and make sure you have someone who's healing or has like some kind of accessory equipped that's gonna buff your defense, or have a guy with a shield anytime you like. There's all kinds of different management things you can do to move the pieces around. It's truly excellent.
And it's the art is so good. I don't skip the battles, even though like they're automated. You know what's going to happen before you even go into it. But I'm still like, yeah, here we go.
Yep. And they do have you make choices in this as well that immediately have consequences. Like early on in the game, there's a choice you have to. This guy who's a boss at the end of a side mission, you can either let him go or turn him over to the town's watch, which means he's almost certainly going to be executed for kind of operating as a bandit. And I turned him over to the town's watch because I'm a goody two shoes. I was like, well, you're going to obey the law. And so I turned him over, and he, of course, immediately gets broken out of prison by his guys, and now he's gonna attack me later. He's gonna be way stronger. I looked it up. Not gonna be great. So
I gave mercy on him, and I looked it up too. It's gonna be good for me.
It's gonna be bad for me. I was like, crap. Yeah. So anyway, but I like that. I like the decisions they give you, and anyway, so far so good. I really, really love Unicorn Overlord. Can't recommend that enough. It's a great Switch game, great handheld experience.
It's so good on the Switch, yeah.
Or PlayStation Portal, if that's your thing. Play it there on the PS5. Anybody? PS Portal? No.
No, I don't even like how that comes out when you PS Portal. Like I don't
PS Portal. PS
Portal.
Sounds like some Barack Obama would say.
Yeah, I don't like it. Yeah.
PS Portal.
All right, so that's most of the major stuff that I think we're playing. Here's a rapid fire list of new stuff that's out before we talk about Godzilla and Kong Rides Again. I think that's the name of the movie.
Right.
I left it. I was like, you know what? Screw it.
I almost looked up the title because I forgot, and as I write notes, I was just like, I'm just gonna put Godzilla and Kong Ride Again.
That's what it deserves.
Like,
just make something up. Yeah.
They should have called it that. Really, they should have.
Make it a full-on comedy.
They should have called it Kongzilla, technically.
Right.
At one point, have Godzilla look at Kong and go, "They're right behind us, aren't they?" What?
Oh yeah, written and directed by Joss Whedon. Yeah.
It feels so much. In many points. No, we're not at the movie yet. We'll talk about the movie.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah.
All right, guys. South Park Snow Day is out, and it is not reviewing well, which is a bummer for that franchise because it had a good track record, video game wise, at least through 2 games. So not as good of a track record here. I remember the N64 game had a really good vibe too. People loved the old 64 one, but anyway.
It sucks when you see like the creators of the show out there doing hands-on previews of it with publications, doing interviews, talking about what they know about the game. Because this is, I mean, it's Matt and Trey's, the creators. It's their studio, like that. Like they have a publishing studio or something that they made after. I think they made it after Stick of Truth.
Okay.
They were like, we want to keep doing this, right? So it's just like interesting, like hearing like they sound somewhat passionate about what's involved in the game. That's how they come off. And so like just to hear all these reviews describe how uninspired it is like, damn, man.
It
not
got
even
a
funny
3 on
it's
IGN.
not even funny.
Hey, drug dealers got to sell the drugs even when the drugs are bad. So like that's the job.
Yeah.
Like you gotta hawk your wares. So.
Listen, IGN loves their 8s and their 4s. We know this, but they gave this one a 3.
I perked up. Yeah, I was like, they never use that number.
Yeah, 3?
An odd number?
I've never seen that. Have y'all seen this symbol before? Out
There's
here
a
in the wild?
What is this? Why is this 8
Hieroglyph?
missing
What is this?
part of its number?
What does it mean? What does it mean?
So a couple other games that are out. There's one called Millennia, which I think is on Game Pass for PC, but that's like a Civilization style game. There's Pepper Grinder, which is this action platformer. Jeff, you tried the demo for this, right?
I just flat out bought it. It's $15.
Okay. I played the demo on
it's-
Switch. That was fun.
It's super cool, man. It's the premise is like it's an old pixelated graphics, clearly low budget. Devolver published it, and they only really put their name on weird or fun stuff or weird fun stuff.
Both.
Usually. So this opens like, and they try to give you some semblance of a story. Like you're washed up ashore, and there's like bad guys that steal your stuff, and you're chasing them, and you fall down off a bridge into like some sort of cave, and you pick up a drill on the way down conveniently. That's how the game starts.
That's your weapon for the rest of the game.
That's your weapon. That's your mode of transportation for the rest of the game. Like
because you have to use the momentum to launch to make jumps and stuff.
Exactly. It's a powerful, obviously very fantasy oriented drill that allows you to turbo it at some points, depending on your momentum.
And there's little elements that remind me of like Dig Dug or even SteamWorld Dig, where you see like jewels within the ground that you can drill through to like pick those up and all that kind of
momentum wise and physics wise, whatever you want to call it. I guess it's like a less involved, slower version of Pizza Tower. Because Pizza Tower is like they want
very momentum,
insanely fast, and like just wreck bad guys and know every inch of a map or whatever. Yep. This one kind of has some of that, but like the speed is way more manageable.
Do you guys ever play
Stay Alive? In my opinion,
what's it called? is it Yuku's Island Express? It's something with a Y. Anyway, it's like a
that sounds
pinball
familiar.
platformer. Lots of momentum and kind of like slinging through levels, and it's got a little
Yoku's,
element of
Yoku's Island Express.
Yoku's Island Express. That's what it was. Yeah, fun little kind of pinball platformer.
I like the art style on this.
This has kind of elements of that too, where it's a lot of momentum based, and you got to get enough speed to launch and all that stuff. So anyway,
this looks pretty nutty. He's like talking to somebody in the Yoku's game.
That Island Express game is pretty fun if you haven't played it. It's pretty
like
fun.
A weird shark head, and he's got like it looks like a Nazi captain hat on it, but it says I'm a postmaster.
You're like, okay, sure you
okay, Nazi commander. All right.
Okay.
Grandia HD collection came out this week as well.
I didn't even know that was coming out. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, I think they've done some HD remasters separately, but now it's just kind of a collection format. You can get those games. That's
and
cool.
it's 1 and 2. So.
Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles. Listen, Falconeer is a game that I think it launched with the Series X, I think, or was it the Xbox One? I don't remember which one. But not a great game as a Falcon.
No, it's terrible.
It's not good. But they were like, let's keep this IP going, folks, and let's make a city builder version of it. Like, what?
Let's keep this IP going, folks.
Okay.
So
so it's happening. So that exists, and it's getting very mediocre reviews, just like the other Falcon game did. So good job. Terra Memoria. Dan, you highlighted this game. This game looks awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of
I don't even
pixel 3D art.
I don't know if it was just I pulled up YouTube and it was like something that was there on the forefront. Oh no, it was on Steam. I was looking on Steam just for something.
And it knew you would like it.
I saw it there. Yeah, I saw it there. I was like, what is this? So I watched the trailer. I was like, dude, this is giving me such Breath of Fire 4 specifically, because it's the perspective and just the look of the characters, the way they're moving around reminds me of 4 specifically. But I was watching the trailer and you can there's a town, like you can add buildings, and I was like, oh, all right, you freaking got me there. Like,
did you play it?
You got me there. No, not yet. No, not yet.
I wish listed it, so I do plan on getting it, just not yet.
I bought it on the PS5,
PC
so I
only?
have one.
Oh, it's on PS5 also?
PS5. I think it's on everything. Pretty sure it's on everything. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really cool art style. Terra Memoria.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it. Speaking of art styles, this took me way back to like when I first saw people, like when we go visit friends or family, like that would have a PC in the basement that their dad built, and you'd be like, what? You guys are how rich? You know what I mean? Is that kind of thing where gaming on a computer was so beyond my, like, what I thought I could ever do. This reminds me of those kind of old RPG games. This one's called Velvedek. I don't know how to say it. It's based in Slovakia, where you're this old, and this is according to the description. You're like an alcoholic knight who's trying to, like, you got some heavy stuff you got to deal with. So it's an adventure, but it's also an old RPG style where like it's first person view in the RPG fights, but then third person view when you're traveling around, and it just has this real grainy, pixelated, dark vibe that I really dig. I think the art style of this is such a cool throwback to the old RPGs that I remember seeing on the PC. So anyway,
this is a very specific style for sure. That's harkening back to the time. Specific time.
Yeah, it's very weird because they use all these pixels to kind of be detailed. Like at the time, we would have been like, look at these graphics. But of course, now it's like, it's so grainy and dirty looking, but so cool at the same time. I don't know.
This would fit on a floppy disk for
sure. It
would
absolutely. You'd have to like put in like CD ... or whatever to, run. Anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
That all right, clears your previous line. Never mind.
That's okay. Right. That's my bad. CD ... whatever.
I used to use command prompt every day.
It's been a long time since I've used it. Maniac. If you are itching for an old Grand Theft Auto 2 type throwback game where you kill everyone, and I mean like you're going in cities like murdering lots of innocent people. So if that bothers you, don't play this game or even look at it. But Maniac kind of looks like a super over the top violent cartoony GTA 2 clone. Don't know if it plays as well as that, but it just looks like, think of Postal or those kind of just insane games where it's just pure carnage, and the police are coming after you, and you build up as far as I could see from some of the screenshots, looks like the more damage you cause, the more the police are going to come after you. So don't know if it's any good, but it does look absolutely crazy. Godsworn is kind of a Warcraft 2-esque RTS game. It reminds me of those, or like maybe Age of Mythology, like that type of vibe. If you ever liked those games, Godsworn looks pretty good. AutoForge, it's a side-scrolling game that mixes automation like Factorio with crafting and building and fighting, kind of like Terraria. So a little bit of a mix of those styles of games. AutoForge looks pretty good. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist. Jeff, we talked about this last week too, how there's a follow-up to Ender Nights. Or no, Ender Night. Ender Lilies, thank you. Quietus of the Nights, or something like that.
Yep.
But this is getting really stellar user reviews, which is awesome.
Ender Lilies did too, so that kind of it's good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maniac, I just checked. It has very positive reviews. So like a lot of these games showing really well.
I love that. It's like a quiet week for the
really,
big
really
games
quiet time for small games to thrive in a big way.
Love it. Love it. And then, of course, there's a very significant demo out in Stellar Blade. If you guys want to give any kind of initial thoughts on that. Stellar Blade demo is out. And
goes hand in hand with Final Fantasy combat, let me tell you.
That is not... This is not a game I can play around my fam, guys. I don't think there's too many parts. Yeah. So anyway, how is it though?
Stellar Boob. I mean, Stellar Babe.
Booby.
I mean, Stellar Blade. I gave it the slightest of diddles actually before we started recording, which is probably inappropriate considering how sexy all the characters are. But whatever. I diddled it. It's dude, visually there's a lot going on in that opening sequence. Like the stuff going on in the background is just all sorts of chaos, and it's awesome because I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is going? It's very just like boom, hit the ground running, and like things are happening.
Bayonetta style, just like chaos. Like
so the combat
are both kind of like that,
it's weird because the combat's not.
It's more like the planet is resembles Darksiders, like it's in a chaotic shape.
Setting.
Yeah.
So it's like that, but like Automata,
like buildings are falling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, the world's just in a bad shape. Let's just put it that way. Not a great way. Not a good time. But it's really cool though. It pops though. It looks really good.
I think it's trying to go for like Souls, but a little faster, which I thought it was going to be more of a character action game.
I mean,
so, that's kind of a bummer for me.
I heard it was
is
like
a character
Bayonetta
action
like
game.
that's what, but I haven't played it, so I don't.
Because she's not moving as quickly as like Dante or Bayonetta or or like even Rebirth. Like for me, she's not moving as fast as those in those styles.
I don't know. I disagree. I mean, I think there is difficulty on normal, but obviously I'm not playing on that. If there's an easy mode, I'm going to play it. But it doesn't change the way she moves. Like she still moves the same in either difficulty. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just sensing
zipping around.
Yeah, I'm sensing it's not trying to be like a weighty Souls-like.
She does certain moves where she's doing a lot of acrobatic stuff, which the animation is like pretty quick. But I guess I just mean like when you're targeting the enemy. Again, I played very little. It was just the beginning sequence. But when I was targeting the enemy, there was a lot of target, and then I was kind of like strafing a little bit, and it felt almost a little more Souls, just a little faster.
Like you mean like
but it's not like Dante dashing around. No, it's not weighty, but like I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Like the dodge that there isn't like a roll dodge or something that's like.
She's just not dashing like how Dante or Bayonetta and stuff like that does. She's just, or even Cloud in Rebirth. Cloud like be dashing.
I swear it looks like she dashes in some of the trailers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
well, I wonder if like maybe
tree,
there's builds.
So you get
Dan's probably just distracted by the other things on the screen, guys. It's fine.
There's a lot going on, and he's not looking at the enemies. Let me tell you.
Very true.
He's like, I can't
who would want to
anything
speed that butt up, right, guys?
I got two. I was
like, what's the setting? Dan goes, I don't know what the setting is. I have no idea.
Right.
I got. Is it even a game? I don't even know. I just watched the first cinematic. So like, I got to the first. Let's just call it a chocobo stop. That's what it was. Where you
same here.
You're on a bench, heal, and the screen goes black, and you come back. It's literally Final Fantasy, but in a different setting. It's great.
Okay.
So like,
get it done, I did that. There's also a vendor shop there, and of course, where you can upgrade your skill tree. And I unlocked a certain kind of dodge where if you get a perfect dodge, you get to hit like triangle right after and retaliate. Nice. So there's a lot of like, and it looked like there were way more options available, but I couldn't get to them yet because it's either a demo or because I'm just not there in the game yet, obviously. But like, it looks like it is going to be kind of sort of loosely build focused. The skill tree wasn't like massive. Insane, like it looked kind of like
it sounds like it might be like that because Devil May Cry is kind of build like focused too, kind of. You know what I mean? Like I imagine it's gonna be like that level of kind of builds.
Yeah, what do you call a booklet? I keep calling them booklets. They're not that. What do they call them in the Rebirth? The where you
folios or whatever.
Folios.
Oh, the folios.
So it's more like folios where you have several branches that you might be able to. Or Banishers is kind of similar, but at the same time, there's way less options on Banishers because it's a smaller game. I mean,
that could be what it is. Maybe builds will be faster and like some of them are heavier, so they're slower, but like maybe more defense, like maybe something like that. So who knows? It's just a demo. We don't know for sure, but
I did fight. Did you get to the first boss? I guess it's technically a boss. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that part was like, you're not. I feel like the game's still not telling me everything I'm capable of as the character. Well, that was deliberate story wise, but because a few minutes right after that, I'm doing extra stuff that I didn't learn yet.
But it does feel very like epic, very grandiose, like sci-fi. The music is they're definitely trying to latch onto this sort of Nier Automata vibe for sure. There's definitely heavy Nier Automata influence there. So the music is pretty awesome.
Is it like Nier Automata, like the music, like weird and
it has like the operatic, like, you know, the choir in the background, like singing as like the whole orchestra is like doing its thing. So
I'm telling you, picking this up. Well, I mean, is it an April date? I thought it was a fall date that this game comes out for some reason.
I think it's April 18th or something like that.
Wow.
Right?
It's picking this up, I assume I'm gonna have Rebirth done by then. So like picking this up after Rebirth is gonna be literally perfect for me. Like it's like it feels like a parallel move. What do you recall that? Whatever. I'm not good with words tonight. Guys. Lateral. Thank you. Yes.
So I was looking at the developer to see what else they've made. Shift Up.
Is the Chinese studio, or am I thinking of a different game?
I think it's based out of Japan.
I thought it was Japanese.
No, it's South Korea. It's South Korea.
Oh, Korea.
Oh, we're all racist. Wow. Cool.
We all.
And guys, no, we're also kind of right because they're owned by Tencent. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's called crossing borders to make a video game, dude.
A joint effort video game.
So it sounds like they teamed up with other teams. Like they haven't solely developed their own game, I don't think, until this one, but they've helped with stuff like Blade and Souls, never heard of it. Magna Carta games.
Wait, stop it. Did they make the Magna Carta games?
Well, I don't know if that's true. It's just they're listing it as like maybe one of the people who worked on the Magna Carta games is here. Shift Up.
I hope the writer is from Korea because
some
like,
mobile games.
South Korea storytelling is like amazing, like in TV and movies and stuff. If we get like pieces of that like into this game, like really like good world. I'm not saying this game's gonna be like, you know, super thought provoking or anything like that, but at least like
it's
good
Parasite
world building.
The video game.
Yeah, it's like we Parasite the video game. But if it's like Host the video game, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah. You know?
So they didn't work on Magna Carta, but it's the guy who founded Shift Up was the chief artist on Magna Carta and Blade and Souls and other stuff. So this might be their first development project. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it seems like their site is just showing Stellar Blade,
It does feel, even though I know it's not, well, when you got Tencent backing you, who knows, but...
By the way, Tencent just bought 20%, so they didn't start
okay. All right, well, it does feel like maybe it's part of the exclusivity deal that like Sony probably backed out the Brinks truck for them, maybe, I don't know. But it does feel AAA. Like the character facial expressions, especially. I'm like, how did they do that?
The graphics look insane. So,
it's so it definitely doesn't feel like some maybe a little bit better than AA effort that Sony's putting out because they don't really have anything else this year or whatever.
Like Where Winds Meet and some of those other Chinese games that are coming out, they all look AAA as hell too. So it's so interesting to see.
Where Winds Meet,
like,
that's right. That looks awesome.
Like new studios are coming out of nowhere and being like, guys, we're already there, you know, like graphics-wise. So.
Dude, I'm so glad you brought that game up. That game looks awesome.
It could be the AI generative tools really, like it could be Unreal 5 and on the AI generative tools that are helping
could be.
At least develop some environments. Like I think CD Projekt Red said this week that there's no way AI is going to get to the point, at least not and for several years, to where the AI can just control an NPC, like in an open world. Like apparently we're so far off from that. Like it's not even funny how.
I think they're just experimenting with it now.
I want to fall in love with my operating system on my phone next year, Jeff. I want a her experience next year. Okay, so don't.
It is cool when you see.
I'm just trying to argue with Chad, who's not on our podcast. He's on the Dudesy podcast.
Yeah, he thinks it's gonna happen tomorrow. So
it is cool when you see these developers that. I mean, maybe they've done other things, but they really kind of rise to prominence out of nowhere. A game like Lies of P from last year's a good example of that, where NeoWiz really just kind of became a developer of note. They had made other stuff before that, but like Lies of P was like, oh, okay, they're for real. Like this team is making real stuff. Interesting. So I do like when that happens.
God, man, I'm excited for Stellar. It just got me hyped. Like
April 26th. It's coming out in about 4 weeks. A little less than 4 weeks. So it'll be out.
Yeah, I'm pumped for that. I hope it's great. I'm savoring it. I don't want to play the demo, but like I know it's gonna be something that.
Oh man, that's a week after Rising Tide comes out. I hope that DLC is not 10 hours long, please. That's
16.
16, yeah. That's a whole new map, Dan. That's a whole new map, a whole new icon ability.
Guys, I got to replay all of 16 again. You know.
Oh my god!
Oh, come on. He'll never touch
it. That's a quick 70. That's
yeah.
Right.
Of course.
Oh, also worse for you guys. It comes out the same day as Sandland.
Oh
yeah.
I have a feeling
demo.
I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe this game won't deliver, but I have a feeling I'll be all in on No Rest for the Wicked and Aiden Chronicles are both out right before that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Another huge dare.
April's stupid. April's stupid. I know.
God. And I think Stellar Blade is supposed to be like 40 hours or something like that. Like, it's not like a short character. Like, character action games are like classically 15 to 20 hours. So, like, they're like, nah, double it. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, but yeah, The Rest of the Wicked from the Ori devs.
Everything wants to be your only game right now, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's so disrespectful, like we've been saying.
It really is disrespectful. It's not nice at all. It's unkind, is what it is.
Figure it out, guys.
All right, well, let's talk.
No respect.
Dan and Kyle, how long do we give Jeff to talk about Godzilla and Kong right again? Let's time him because I don't want this movie to take up more than
20 minutes. I can give it
20 minutes. Let's do 20 minutes of Godzilla and Kong.
I want you to recap it.
First, build the lore. World build for us.
Back in like
in the world.
So the reason that America developed the atomic bomb is this. Okay. I'm going like way back to the.
I don't care. When does Skarsgård take his shirt off, Jeff? That's what I care about.
Good question.
Wait, so Oppenheimer or whatever is a prequel to this?
Yes, Oppenheimer's in the Godzilla Monsterverse.
It's all the shared universe.
Yeah, you watch Oppenheimer and then -1 and go, guys, I don't think we did a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think we did a good thing.
Oopsies.
Oops, sorry. Oh, did we destroy your spirit and like
did we destroy your spirit?
Oh,
for generations to come. My bad.
Yeah. Wait, can you guys make anime now or?
Yeah.
Man, what a gift! What a gift!
Entertain us
I know we don't deserve it. Look what we did, and then.
Could you make video games and TV shows for us, please?
It's cool. Can you entertain these weird white guys that like all your weird octopus porn now?
I'm wearing an anime shirt.
Yeah.
So you can right now.
Yeah, Evangelion.
Oh my god. Anyway, this movie's just a mess. Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire, is the name of the movie, which is a second blockbuster with an Empire subtitle, Ghostbusters. Frozen Empire, and unfortunately, they're not part of the same Empire universe. It's not they're not branching out, making them a connected universe. But anyway, it's I don't even remember where the story left off, like even a little bit. Like I did watch the Monarch show on Apple, and it does feed into it.
Oh.
Like there's a cliffhanger that's like, oh, they're setting up Godzilla X Kong.
Okay.
But the show is like miles better.
The show is so serious. Like, it's so
much
serious
better.
that like I imagine it's a whiplash effect going from like the humans in that show to like the humans in this movie.
To them, they're trying like all the characters and the writing and the dialogue is like so trying to be like a Fast and Furious type of monster movie, like where they're just talking in quips and they're not funny, they're cringe, they're very basic. And
does it make the human stuff in the previous movie, which was not great, does it make that seem like way better now by comparison?
Yes.
Oh, that's
it
bad.
makes I actually like I have no problem actually defending Godzilla versus Kong.
I had a fun time with that movie.
That movie's a great
time. That movie's so much fun. I own it
on 4K. It's a good time.
And hey,
Godzilla
that
before
final battle
though,
with the adrenaline, it's just pumping, man. Like that.
For sure.
It's super cool.
That one before it though, Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's when I started turning on the movies. I was like, oh, I kind of hate this now. I don't know why the humans in that one were particularly insufferable for me.
Gotcha.
But for some reason, Godzilla vs. Kong came out, and I was like, never mind, everything's amazing now. Like I just loved it right away.
Maybe it was because like it was during COVID. Maybe we were all crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
crazy.
so.
Yeah.
I liked that second one, but
hey guys, we lost our taste in food and in movies. Keep going, Jeff.
Yeah, it got us. Yeah.
So yeah, this one is like kind of set up, I guess. You don't really you can skip the show. You're not going to be lost because the characters literally only speak in expositions and quips. So they're just going to, drag you along for wherever they are in the story. In the most stilted introduced dialogue scenes where they're like, why are they talking about this now? Like, shouldn't they have already shared this information with each other about where Godzilla and Kong are? Like, I don't. Anyway, the first half of the movie is them building up to the enemy. Like, basically the first hour doesn't matter. I just don't know how to phrase it. It's the human characters going, I think
horrible.
Godzilla.
That's half the movie.
I know. That's why I didn't like it. Because Godzilla and Kong, like, they are doing giant monster stuff, but the humans the whole time are going, it looks like they're gearing up for something. That's the whole, and they're like fighting.
Is there a montage
monsters.
where they're training together?
That'd be so cool. He's like lifting up trees.
Yeah,
or
they're like
something.
lifting weights together.
Not training, but I swear to God, the writing felt like at any moment Kong's going to be like, hold on. At any moment, Kong's going to actually say, "Hey, man, can you help me out?" Like at any moment.
Remember when we helped each other the last time? Just do that again.
Like at some points, I'm pretty sure Godzilla and Kong were like gesturing to each other, and I'm like, they just want them to talk at this point.
Jeff, did they fist bump? Did they fist bump at any
They
point?
locked eyes intimately. That's all I got.
Oh wow! I can't wait for that fanfic. Yeah.
Kong does. I'm just gonna spoil it. Kong does ride Godzilla at one point.
Oh my God! Stop it!
Yes.
God damn
He literally just jumps on the side.
That's like Donkey Kong riding Yoshi, and I don't know how. I don't know. If I like that at all.
It's like,
Right,
bro,
yeah.
you're faster.
Oh, my word.
I don't know how to tell you this, Kong. You're faster, bro.
Yeah. Why? What? Like strategical
Godzilla's got
value
a
does
fat
that
ass to
have?
carry around. You're just adding to the weight. It's crazy.
Because
I could see someone in the writer room
man.
is going to be like, remember when everyone freaked out when Yoda came out in Attack of the Clones and like flipped around everywhere, and everyone really, this is going to be our moment, guys, and like everyone's like,
Look,
is Steve on mescaline again at work? Like, what's happening with him?
This is gonna work for some people because I've seen me describing it, and there's even a part where Godzilla like suplexes Kong, literally a wrestling move, puts his head here and does a vertical suplex to him.
I'm okay with that. That's okay.
But there's some moments like that that I go, are you kidding me? In
Wait a
like
minute,
kind of
wait a
like a
minute. This
negative
sounds
way.
like I wrote this when I was 14, like
Right.
watching wrestling and playing with action figures. And
It's like you described. You were like, it's basically they're just playing with their toys. Like, I mean, that's it. They're not really thinking about story or anything like that. Or like when, especially coming off the heels of -1, which is like pretty
just
much
gonna compare the
this
two.
genre.
Yeah.
Like, in the heart of that movie had
in
me
a world
more
where
concerned-
-1 exists, this
like-
looks even worse, right? Doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like, especially when you're winning
And when
statues,
Monarch was
you
good
know?
too. Monarch was a good show. Like it, so dumb.
That's weird.
I mean, the
but
trailers
anyway,
looked awful for this movie, to be honest.
Yeah, they
and like,
did.
I'm a huge apologist. All the stuff that Jeff hates about this series, I'm like, that's what I like about it.
That's
you know?
fun.
I I love all that stuff or whatever.
I actually
But
really like
I saw
King
the
of
first
Monsters,
trailer
too,
for this,
but-
and I'm going to set you up for this, Jeff, because you told us to bring it up for you.
Okay, good.
And the second I saw the glove, I'm like, I'm not fucking watching this movie.
The glove was
Like
weird. Yeah.
that was the breaking point for me. Yeah, he like I was out. Like,
You know how they
no
set
way,
that
no
up?
thanks.
So Kong had a long-term health problem with his arm. Let's just put it that way.
No,
And,
no.
I'm not going to set it up.
Elaborating spoilers.
It is because they left out some enemies in the trailer.
Wait. Did he? Is there a scene where he's sitting in a doctor's office waiting for the results to come
Almost
back?
feels like that. Like as soon as he gets back to home base where the good guys are,
He's like
the
slumped
good
over.
humans- sorry, where he gets back to where the good humans are. But it's almost like, and there is a vet in the movie who treats him, and it's Dan Stevens' character, and he does bring some nuttiness to it. But there's the part where he's like,
Oh, Lord.
they notice his arm is like they can't fix it, and he's like, we've been working on some augmentations.
No.
And she goes, what kind of augmentations? And then of course it's like cut to rock music.
Of
And I'm like,
course,
oh my
yeah.
God,
AC/DC
it's
starts
Fast and
playing or
Furious
something.
or whatever.
Oh no.
It's so terrible, in my opinion. I don't like that type of stuff personally.
And then
A
he
lot
gets
of
a
people are
letter
gonna
in
eat
the
this
mail,
up.
and it's his
Eat it up.
copay, his deductible,
Yeah,
his
bill.
co-insurance.
And then it shows him
right.
drinking because he's depressed. He's got no money left.
Also, it makes no sense for them to help him. Godzilla's the one who protects literally their side of Earth. Because, right,
Sure.
it's Hollow Earth, if you saw the last movie.
Yeah.
Kong's just chilling in Hollow Earth. Why do you care about treating him? Let them just run amok. Who cares?
Yeah.
Anyway, the movie does kind of dive into that. Don't get me wrong. There is a threat in Hollow Earth that's like bad. But it takes like an hour for you to be like, what are the stakes here? Why should we care about any of this?
I saw that Donkey Kong gets his Godzuki. Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong does get his Diddy.
King Kong gets his Godzuki, right? Like he has a dumb little like kid or something like that, a kid sidekick.
He
or
gets
whatever.
his Diddy
You know how
Kong?
we met him? You know how he met him?
He gets his Diddy Kong.
So he goes in. So Kong goes into Hollower Earth. Yes, there's a Hollower Earth.
I'm so dude. That's the time up, Tim. No, I heard the timer. It went off.
All right, I'm gonna hit stop on recording.
No.
Stop it. We're going deeper, guys.
He gets attacked by a bunch of apes, and the kid is among them. And so at one point, takes the kid and starts beating the shit out of the other guys with him, and it's so funny.
That's hilarious. Okay. Right.
So there's some moments like that, only exclusively in the action, like the suplex. That is very funny. But I don't. Again, the tone of like the human characters makes me go, "Is this supposed to be funny?" Like I don't know what they're trying to do here. They
did not deserve
very
the time
serious.
we just gave it.
I'm so sorry. I am so.
There was some pretty good laughs. I think.
I enjoyed it. I really did.
We'll be right back.
You know, we're gonna cut to a break.
We'll keep it right here. Keep it right here.
Actually, it's got 55% Rotten Tomatoes. I'm surprised it's that high. 55%.
I thought it was going to be like, even before the reactions came on social media, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a 30. Like, I thought it was going to be way lower.
55 means I'm probably still going to watch this with my middle school sons and have a fun time.
You'll love their reactions to it. You will love it so much.
I think I'm going to have a fun time with it. But I'm also looking forward to laughing at the ridiculousness of it. Because, I mean, they had Godzilla go pink Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't have to do this.
They had to change the colors because there's another enemy that resembles the blue color.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Well, they need to show him leveling up.
Different levels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
like a Saiyan.
Part
like
of the first half of the movie is he's literally just going across the planet, slowly absorbing like nuclear enemies or nuclear energy at like plants or somewhere underwater. Yeah. And you're like, what does this matter at all? Just have him show up. Like,
boy, I bet the CG budget on this movie was unreal.
It looks so expensive. It's going to be nominated for an Oscar because it actually looked good. Like, I'm kind of mad about saying that, but
I'm kind of mad.
Yeah, but I was like looking at this, like, that's just pornography. That's crazy. It looks so good.
Yeah. Well,
so the next one we're going to space, right? Is that
we're going to space. We got to go to space. Yeah.
We got to go to space.
Yeah, the next one, Oh, for sure.
And the next one, Godzilla rides on Kong. Don't know how it's gonna work, but we're gonna make.
I got you, buddy. They're gonna emulate. Like,
no, you got to do 3. The small Kong is on King Kong, right?
It's a pyramid.
And Mothra is flying them all. Right?
It's like a pyramid with the bottom is in the middle, basically. Yeah.
That's a free idea there. There you go.
Power of the pyramid, right?
The question does become who goes to space first? Is it Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible, or is it this one?
Mm-hmm.
That really does become a question.
It's got to be Fast and Furious.
Oh, they actually they did. Technically, you're right. I forgot about that.
That
Wait,
already.
that
did happen already.
Is his classic car that he has in every movie? Is it in space with him?
That's so close. They did.
That's really close, though.
It's a regular ass car that they put rocket engines on and shot it into space, and then we're all just supposed to like swallow that and go, yeah.
The stakes are very serious right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because entire rockets blow up when one little connection between a fuel tank and a rocket, like
I was out,
but a car, no problem.
That was a series I was like, I'll watch all of these until they're over, just because I've been watching it. That one, I was like, I'm not watching it.
I think I can't do it.
You still haven't seen the Jason Momoa.
No, I have not seen the one with Jason Momoa, and I never will. I will die having not seen that movie. That's just the way it is.
I'm so proud of you. I have no
fair.
willpower. I have no willpower.
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah, that's fair.
All
That's
right,
smart.
well,
better use of your time, you know.
Let's pivot like Kong and Godzilla did. Let's pivot into Game of the Year watch Q1 of 2024. Guys, the first quarter is over. We're 25% of the way through 2024 already. If you haven't felt old yet, you can feel old now. It's flying. And hey, there's been a lot of good games. What I thought I could do is I'm going to bring up a list of games from 2024 and go through them. And you guys tell me, there's 2 things we're going to be trying to quantify these as, mainly as contender for our shared lists. So we know each other really well by now. We know the kind of things that will likely be vying for a spot, at least be a contender for a spot in the top 10, or it's like, nah, this is a pretender, has no chance of making it. This isn't us saying it's not a good game. It's just we're thinking of our top 10 list that we will make together.
Yeah,
as a group.
And future releases that are coming. That's like, oh, so and so is really gonna love that one. So
correct. Yeah. Exactly. So I'll go through a bunch of the games that we've had so far this year, and we'll mark them as contender or pretender, and we will start kind of at lower half of the list here. Let's start down here with Nightingale. I'm gonna say pretender, since I'm the only one who's even tried it, and it's really not that good yet, sadly.
When it's like early access too, right?
It is.
It's in early access. I'm holding out hope for this game. It's just not great right now.
I really want to play it, but I don't have the PC specs for it though. So.
And it's just not worth it yet. I can confirm it's not worth it yet.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Pretender.
By the way, I'm skipping stuff like
the stuff we haven't played.
And
stars. You mean you're skipping the quadruple A game and Sony's best game this year?
I'm just gonna go ahead and put Pretender by both those, just so it's official. Suicide
Those are tracking in the top 10 in the sales department, guys. So people are buying those.
It
pieces
counts.
Of shit.
Quadruple A. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. It's pretender.
No. It killed itself.
Absolute pretender.
Which is appropriate.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Hey, what about Pal World? Is that a contender for our shared list this year?
I don't.
A shared list?
So no,
not a shared list.
People kind of they're not really talking about that anymore. So
because the game got really popular and there's like 6 people working on that game and they're like, we don't know what to do with all the money and attention.
Agreed.
We're sorry. Yep. Yeah.
That's why you hire somebody else. Have they never played a sim game?
They'll drop a huge content. People will be all back in. So.
Sure. All right. What about The Cub? We've talked about that game a couple different times.
It'll be in my list somewhere, not in the 10, but like honorable mentions or something. I assume by some point at the end of the year.
It might be in your top 10 depending on what else comes out.
Maybe in the discussion for like, best indie. Hey, what about this? Yeah. Maybe if there's not enough indies or whatever. But we know how these years usually go. Yep. We find out about more indies by like November, and we're like, I guess I got to play that. Like, and then it's amazing.
Crap. I hear you. Rise of the Ronin. Contender or pretender?
If it's just us 4, it's a pretender.
Yeah.
If we're lucky enough to have Derek come back and we're able to,
he might fight for it. He loves it.
Yeah, we would find a way to make a place for it because it's like his favorite game, at least for now, of the year.
Yeah, to me that one's on the cusp. It's on the bubble. You know, it's like could be a contender, but as of right now, probably a pretender. All right. What about Princess Peach Showtime? You have to say it kind of like that because there's an exclamation point on it. Showtime!
Showtime!
No.
It's a pretender.
Looks really cute.
It's fine. Yeah, it's decent, as the kids say.
It's definitely targeting a younger audience. It's very easy. It's very, but it's, nothing wrong with that. All right. Let's keep going up the list here. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden.
Yes.
I think all of us plan to play it who haven't played it, and I think you think you're very high on it. So I think this game's got a real chance.
I think it's a contender. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the kind of game that's like in our honorable mentions, depending on what else comes out.
Yeah, it really depends on the rest of the year.
I mean, it's hard to say.
It might be nutty. Who knows?
Could be. Yeah. So far, it's been amazing. All right.
Or it could be nothing because everyone's fired. So
it could be that too.
True.
Yeah, right.
Could be that too.
Get ready for a bunch of delays.
What about Grand Blue Fantasy Relink?
I'm the only one who played that, right? Yeah.
But is it a contender? You think
this point,
that's probably a pretender, even though
that's a sale. That's been on a sale game.
That game is so outstanding. It's so crazy how good that game is.
And I think if you can get one more of us to really play it, not just the demo like I played, I diddled the demo a little bit. But like if you can get one more of us to really play it, then it might be
the game is like 4-player multi. Like that game is like it's got everything, you know. It's got it all.
Contender. I think if you can get one more of us to play it, I think it's a strong contender to make.
Yeah, if it's on a sale and it's $20 and y'all don't buy it, I will throw a fit.
That's fair. You can do that. Yeah.
I mean, you know, I love anime, Kyle. I just need a window.
You are gonna love this game, Dan. The combat's incredible and the story.
Platinum games, man.
Yeah, characters are amazing.
Helldivers 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Contender, like right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
That's another one I need to play.
It's gonna be so good working by the time you choose to play it. So.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What about Islands of Insight? Jeff talked about this game a couple of times. Insight.
I love that game. I love it so much. But it's not like if it were my number one, I'd be like, guys, we got to find a way to make a space for it. But there's no way it's gonna be my number one. It's like one of the most passive open world puzzle games. Like you have so much freedom.
Yeah. Oh, is this the one that you said that's The Witness but good?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I know that game is
my favorite
a masterpiece
ever.
to some people.
Okay.
I don't know why, but Islands of Insight is just like, I don't know, man. And the fact that people like it clearly speaks to people because there's still an online community. Like there's still people going in there and pointing out how to solve puzzles to each other without a voice chat. You know, like you're just trying to figure it out together. Yeah, I mean, I love it, but like it's not for shared to know.
What about Enshrouded?
I don't.
Shared
have more people that besides me
not
and you
get into it.
Yeah, I mean, like
I think we would have.
it,
I think we would have to love it, and I think.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Kyle, but I like it a lot. I don't know that I love it yet, and maybe I will when I play it more. I played close to 20 hours. I played a lot of this game.
I'm like at
beat
10
several
hours,
bosses. I unlocked a ton of stuff, and I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. And maybe it's even great. I don't know that it's like, I don't know. So there are games that I'll play. Banishers is one. Valheim from a couple years ago that I'm just like, I'm so in love with this game. We must have it on our list somewhere. Do not fight me on it. I love it too. Like, and this isn't one of those. I like it, but I'm gonna mark it as Pretender. I don't think it's a top 10 candidate. What about Unicorn Overlord?
Yeah,
it sounds like it for y'all. Yeah,
I think it's a contender.
Yeah.
I mean, it might not make the list, but I think it's a contender.
Yeah, I would fight for it. Yeah, but I who knows if it'd make it. But yeah, I would definitely fight for this game. I think it's one of the best games in its genre. Period.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there. Oh my gosh,
it's like the first big one of the year that we were like, good game. Okay,
kind of an early one. Yeah.
The recently released Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yes.
Gotta be a contender, right?
Yeah.
Screaming about that one. Yeah.
Based on how much y'all love the first game, it would like sadden me if it didn't make our top 10, honestly.
Yeah.
One of my favorite open world games I've ever played. This is like I'm having I just want to be there right now.
Yeah.
And always.
We would have to have the most insane second half, next 3 quarters of the year for that not to make it, in my opinion. Same with Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I feel like there's enough love for that one that's certainly going to be.
I think y'all will be nice to me and put that on there. I think that's what would happen. Yeah.
It's a strong possibility.
I think Jeff played enough of it to be like, I can appreciate. Right? Didn't you play some of it, Jeff? Or no? I thought you did.
Yeah, no, I did. I can't remember where I left off.
But you'll have enough support at least. What about Tekken 8? And is anyone going to play that?
I'm going to buy this game on sale.
There's a free demo.
Yeah, I want to play the story mode because I hear the story mode's like anime wacky. I hear it's so wacky.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm very excited for that.
That's cool.
But it'd have to be $20-$30. It'd have to be.
For now, Pretender, but that could change if a couple of you play it and really, really love it because it has amazing reviews of people who like fighting games and like it. What about this little Final Fantasy VII Rebirth game? Is that a? What do you think?
Too redundant. Too many mini
Queen's
games.
Blood is too hard, and everybody's pretending to like it or whatever around me. It's annoying.
Tifa's too cute. She's just too cute. So.
Not realistic.
Yeah.
To human.
Yeah, not really.
She's no Stellar Blade, but
Oh my gosh, have you guys seen the meme that someone put up of like the last two? Like they put Tifa and the Stellar Blade girl of like, here's how Sony's creating female characters, and then they showed the Fable girl from the trailer that's got the dumb face.
Oh, she's the doofus looking girl. Yeah.
Which is a custom character, but okay.
Very funny. Like to me, it's the same thing as like the Craig meme or whatever that was from Halo.
Oh sure, yeah.
Love it. Yeah, be nice to Craig.
Wasn't that the name?
It was Craig. Yeah.
It was.
Craig.
What about Balatro? That card game, is that a contender?
It would be. It's going to be a serious contender on like all publications everywhere. Like it's going to be in your Try Hard tracker next year.
It's going to be the Wordle. It's going to be the Wordle.
No question.
2024.
I don't know. Right, it's going to win. It's actually good.
Right now, it's in my top 10 because I spent a lot of time playing this dumb card game, but it's really, really fun. Will it even be in my top 10 at the end of the year? I don't know, but it's one of those ones that I have to admit it's fun, and I play it. And I'll listen to a podcast or something and just play a whole bunch of rounds over and over and over again. I like it. But it's a pretender for our shared list for sure. There's a whole bunch of other games I didn't mention because they haven't really been featured specifically in our conversations together. But anything else from 2024 that you're like,
depending on where we fall in the remake rule, Persona 3 would be a pretty. Well, we'd have to talk about it.
Have to.
Yeah.
Like how similar is it to the OG?
Yeah.
As far as like the story and everything, like.
Yeah, they added some stuff. They've cleaned up some stuff. Like it's different, and it even looks different. But like, I don't know. It just depends where we fall on that rule. And that's just me who played it. So like,
I guess Brothers Remake 2 would kind of. Well, I mean, it's not
which one
as big of a leap as Persona 3, but Brothers Remake.
Remake. Oh, okay.
I'm totally gonna be bringing that up for sure. I mean, it's so pretty. Had no right being that pretty. Dang.
Yeah. Agreed. Some upcoming games that I think will definitely be in the conversation unless they really drop the ball based on what we know of them. I think Aiden Chronicle is going to be in the conversation somewhere. I think Stellar Blade, based on everything we've heard today and from this demo, is absolutely going to be somewhere. Again, maybe it'll be an honorable mention when it's all said and done. I don't know how good it will actually be as a full game.
We haven't hit that summer release, where everyone talks about what the second half of the year looks like. It could be crazy. Who knows?
It could get really crazy. We've got Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 will hit in May. That could be in the conversation, depending on if that delivers. I think it will. And it's also priced. Remember, it's like priced at.
It's a $40 game. We're not gonna. A $40 game's not gonna make our top 10, Tim.
There's no way. What is this? Stray? Get it out of here.
Yeah.
Trying to see what else that has a confirmed release date.
The only thing that jumped out at me is War Machine 2. Is that what it's called? Warhammer or Warhammer? What's it called?
Space Marine 2.
Thank you, Space Marine 2. War Machine is.
Saber.
Brody,
that
boom,
game we almost lost that game because of the Saber.
Yeah.
Like I'm so glad someone bought that studio.
I also though the fact that they put it in September makes me go, oh, it's probably gonna get delayed again. Like I don't know why. It's just the length.
Well,
of time.
there was just fear on the Embracer stuff, but it sounds like that game's still rolling forward, which is a relief to hear. That's still happening.
And then maybe there's no release date yet.
The dev is Saber, isn't it? Saber Interactive.
Yeah, and they got split up in some weird ways out of.
Yeah, right. Yeah. God, I got.
But they resolved. You're saying they resolved it since they split up.
It seems that way. Yeah.
Okay.
They have said these games, including Space Marine 2, still in development.
Are moving forward. Yeah. I don't know what the logistics of that is.
We've got stuff like Avowed that's supposed to hit
just about to say Avowed could be coming out.
We all loved the space one so much that if this game isn't loved in a similar fashion, this game fails. You know what I mean?
Something happened. Yeah, totally agree with that. I'm just glancing through to see what else is almost certainly coming this year that we just maybe don't have a release date for. Let's see here. Nope.
Black Myth Wukong isn't a Souls-like. That could be. We all like that,
Otherwise, it might just be one of us.
I have high hopes for Hyper Light Breaker. I know it's only going to come out to early access for now, but man, that game looks awesome. Like I love Solar Ash so much. So I don't know.
Star Wars Outlaws might not hit this year, but if it does, that could be a really awesome experience there. It depends on if it arrives this year.
I would say same with Indiana Jones. I feel like Indiana Jones is going to be like a delay for sure. Like
that game is not coming out in October.
No, there's no effing way. I know Machine Games and Bethesda in general like to do this thing with Machine Games where it's like, here's a preview of this, and by the way, like they'll do this in July or August. They'll be like, and by the way, here's an October release date for that. Like they'll just drop.
Don't they classically delay their games too? Like it's always
they do.
Obviously for the better.
Yeah, but like Wolfenstein 2, I remember like obviously everybody's waiting for, but like it was like they had their own showcase or something, and it was like a month later, Wolfenstein 2 is coming out, and everybody was like, whoa! Like it was just they tend to announce release dates kind of close. They cut it close sometimes.
Yeah, and same with the Fallout 4 did that, right? With like a 6-month release window. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's the best.
And it came out totally fine and perfect.
Everyone loved it.
Yeah, 100%.
It was. I don't know what people's problem
is. It was generally speaking loved, but the more popular franchise or an IP,
I agree.
A lot of the haters.
Yeah.
People that I care about their opinions, all
it's the Skyrim-ification of that franchise. You know what I mean?
Everyone
Skyrim's like one of the most popular, but like people don't like that it strayed more away from what Oblivion and Morrowind was.
Yeah.
So like in its quest to be like more mass appealy, like it loses those loud, obnoxious, like hardcore fans, you know.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah,
that's the same with Final Fantasy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right?
anything.
Yeah, there's people going, yeah,
series.
it's not an RPG or Sid's dead or whatever, you
know. Visions of Mana is supposed to come out, and it looks really cool. It's a new game in the Mana series.
That game looks beautiful.
It looks really good.
Beautiful.
When Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out this year, guys, it will be
Kingdom Hearts.
It's totally coming out this year.
Wait, what? What are you talking about, guys? What?
Publications like IGN, GameSpot, they just got hands-on with Visions of Mana and previewed it. I've been meaning to watch those videos. So
I'll have to watch that. Yeah,
that's been in the news lately. I think for Tim and I, at least, if Plucky Squire hits really hard and harder than we think it will,
dude,
then we're gonna be.
Yeah,
looks great.
Oh yeah, Dan too. You like the animated type of stuff.
Dude,
I love the way that game looks.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget Arc 2, guys. Family is coming to the dinosaur realm. Anyway, all right. So there's
Monster Hunter Wilds. Is there? Do you think that's possible that comes out this year?
I think that's Q1
they announce
next year.
it in the summer and it comes out
just
maybe
saw
beginning
a
of next year.
of Q1 for 2025.
That makes sense to me too. Yeah.
Don't know if that's true, but
it makes sense to me.
You know what I'm going to say right now, just to
Q1?
Monster Hunter World was a January or February game.
Yeah, because I remember everybody still talking about it in the fall. Like, it was a long conversation about that game.
What were we saying, Dan?
Greatest,
I need to just say, so I can make it actually happen, is Little Devil Inside, all right? For the love of effing God and all that.
Speak it into existence.
I mean, they did release a new video, but I mean, that still didn't say anything about a release date.
Well, they spoke, there was like a press release thing or a tweet that they did of like actually explaining what was going on. Yeah.
I'm guessing they even internally like, guys, we can't keep talking about this until we can't say a release date until it's soon. So that might be a thing where it's like, and it comes out this month or next month or something soon. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll be like, all right, it comes out Q1 of 26. It's like, okay.
Seemed like they like expanded their team and things got weird internally. So then they like kind of went back to like to the basics, being
they
a
scaled
little
it back
again.
Yeah. They turned it into a live service game and then nixed all those plans and then are rebuilding it again. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, Dragon Age 4, guys. It's coming out this year too.
It's totally coming out.
That's what people are saying, but that's so silly.
It's so good. I love a good joke. Thanks, guys, for the jokes.
That was awesome.
Oh man, this could go viral like crowd work does for comedians on TikTok. Because that was a great joke. Wow.
We're the funniest. All right.
We don't even know what that game is, and people are like, "That's coming out this year." I'm like,
hear me out.
What
though.
universe?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think as of right now, when I look at the games that are slated somewhat for this year, I'm like, hey, Q1 might end up being the strongest quarter of the year.
Could be, yeah. It could be it could. The rest of the year could be a kind of like, oh, we need to get our shit together type of.
Yeah, could be.
That's what it feels like with all the layoffs, all the restructuring.
Yeah. I mean, with
something's wrong.
Those layoffs are gonna cause delays. They have to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's got to be some sort of impact to the work.
I would think so. So that means Hellblade 2027.
That's it.
Hellblade's gonna be the thing that. Yeah.
Hellblade 2. Sorry.
They're like, and it's gonna be $20, and it's gonna be half what we said.
Yeah. It's actually gonna be 3 hours.
Chopping parts of the game off. Yeah. It's just the menu. That's all it is.
Yeah. Menu's
photorealistic
looking menu.
So real.
Yeah, the menu is
really
either
feel
like
the mental illness coming through the menu screen.
The menu is just chat with Phil Spencer or uninstall this game.
Oh my god! Actually, that would be so smart though. You keep clicking start game and it doesn't start, and you're like, "What's going on?" And you start going insane.
True, yeah,
you start going actually insane.
Then you're looking around, listening to the voices, talking to you.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's the game. Yeah.
Oh my word. Yeah. So there's it'll be interesting to see how things unfold. There's also a potential for this to be a really strong year for DLC stuff. Of course, we've got the big Final Fantasy 16 DLC hitting. We've got Elden Ring's DLC hitting. So there could be some really cool experiences that aren't necessarily from the new IPs. Some great remasters already and remakes this year. We'll see what else. I'm sure Nintendo has some remakes up their sleeves as they wind down the Switch 1, getting ready for Switch 2, presumably next year. I have a feeling we'll see a couple more ports. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a Wind Waker port or something like that with Zelda. Get a Galaxy.
They did Twilight Princess and Wind Waker already. They did do them. So it's like, I don't know why they haven't ported those to the Switch.
Take those off of their Wii U entombment and put them on a system that everybody owns. Like
I saw someone post, they said it's actually been longer. Now it's been longer from the HD Wind Waker remake or remaster to now than it was from the remaster to the original game being released. Like,
oh wow, okay.
Time is moving.
Come on. Yeah.
Come on, guys. So anyway, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see some really cool remakes or remasters from Nintendo and from others. You know, you could see even a Metroid Prime 2 would be amazing. Anyway, so if Nintendo decides
Eternal Darkness showing up somewhere would be really cool. Like a remake of that.
That would be
Speaking
insane.
of insanity, you know, like
who owns even the rights to that? Because
Silicon Knights went under, so who knows? I mean, maybe Nintendo foot the bill, so they own the IP. Maybe. If we're lucky.
Possibly, yeah.
It's probably Embracer.
They bought everything.
Tencent owns it.
Tencent and Embracer together. By the way, I did see a headline where the Embracer CEO said, "Guys, it's too early for us to start buying more studios." And I was like, "Do you think so? Do you think it might be?"
No, stop it. No, slap the hand. Yeah, no, come on.
I like to think he's got a big like green buy button on his keyboard, and he's always like wanting to hit it. Like, oh God, I gotta buy another one. I gotta hit it. And we're like, no.
I'm gonna buy Gearbox back. That's what I'm gonna do.
He's just gonna keep going back and forth, losing money, buying it back and selling it. Ugh. Anyway, well, speaking of which, 2K has confirmed that the next Borderlands game is in active development because they have acquired or in the process of acquiring Gearbox for $460 million.
This took Take-Two way too long to do, man. Like this was like they're the producers of all the Borderland games that they've been working with Gearbox so closely. Like, why was this not always the move? You know, it doesn't make any sense to me.
But it is cool that the next one's in development. Don't know if it's officially going to be Borderlands 4 or kind of a spin-off like they've done. But
weren't there rumors of like a Tiny Tina 2? I thought there were rumors of that. Yeah,
Tiny Tina 2 could be the next one.
I would love
I guess
Borderlands proper.
I'm free. Did a Borderlands? What was the last Borderlands proper title? Was it just 3?
It was 3.
Yeah. 3, yeah.
For some reason in my head, that felt further back than.
There was one that wasn't a numbered one. I'm blanking out. It was
the pre-sequel.
It was called the pre-sequel or something like that. Yeah.
I might be thinking of that and confusing it for 3 and going. Did we get a 4?
So they did a Handsome Jack collection, which I think is 1, 2 in the pre-sequel. I think
they've released that game a few times now. The Handsome Jack collection.
Yeah,
they have.
They Skyrim'd it. Yeah.
So anyway, that's exciting, and I'm glad that Embracer has let go of a couple of things. And please stop buying things, Embracer. Please.
Unembrace new name.
Someone should stop them from being able to do that. Like, no, you can't handle it. Remember, we already went through this.
You can't do it. Which is just funny. I could see them acquiring something like the Pal World dev. I only say that because I don't know if you guys remember, but they were essentially sounding desperate. Like, hey, you can buy us if you want. Like, we're open to being purchased. Like, if you want to buy us,
we're bought off way more than we could chew with this one.
Yeah, we don't even know what to do with all this money. If you guys want to buy us, so anyway, I could totally see them purchasing the Pal World devs. So this coming month, the PlayStation Plus games that are going to be hitting in April. So by the time you hear, I think it's the first Tuesday of the month, if I remember correctly. So it should be dropping soon. Immortals of Avium, which EA said they regret making. It's a decent game.
From what people are still making new IPs with the huge budgets.
I agree. Although EA would say, nope, shouldn't have done it. Like, okay, but it was still cool. It was a cool idea. Minecraft Legends and Skull the Hero Slayer will all be on the PS Plus. So go play those, I guess, if you want to. Marvel Games teased a big announcement for this past week. And it was like
biggest troll in history of Marvel.
What are they gonna do? And they had it was like a 48-hour window of like, what's Marvel Games got up their sleeve? Well, here's what they got. It's a game called Marvel Rivals. It's a free-to-play game. It's a 6v6 free-to-play game. Drops in May.
I didn't hear about this. What the hell is this? Like a MOBA, like a hero shooter? Like
dude. As soon as I saw free to play 6v6, I
literally Overwatch. Yeah.
So it's like Star Wars Bounties, like the other hero shooter that's coming out, but it's Marvel flavored.
Or Hunters.
Yeah.
Is it Hunters or
Hunters? Thank you. No, it's Hunters.
Hunters. Yeah. I do mix that one up with Outlaws, and I'm like, oh, Star Wars Hunters. Oh wait, that's not.
That's the one I don't like.
Yeah. Get that Star Wars name off of there. Don't sully the good name of Star Wars. Nothing before has sullied the name of Star Wars. Everything's been perfect.
Everything's
been pristine.
Yeah, everything's been perfect.
And guys, listen, I didn't know what to say for this headline. I just put Phil Spencer said a lot of things. So he
he talked.
He said a whole lot of things across a whole bunch of platforms, but I'll get to the most interesting one last. So here's one of them, is that he was explaining their pivot to multi-platform, and he just said, we've got a lot of research around Gen Z consumer behavior, and I believe him. I think this is probably accurate. Sure. And he just said all of their stuff is available wherever they want. They never have to worry about having access to the things they've purchased digitally on whatever device they want to use, whatever phone they want to use, whatever PC. Now, that's probably an overstatement. There are certain apps, as we know, and certain things that either won't work as well or won't work at all across like Mac and PC and Android versus iPhone and so on and so forth. But for the most part, you can kind of access everything everywhere. Everything from your Google Drive to the apps you use. You just have a login and go use the thing. And so he said that Microsoft's approach to this has been similar. We want to do we want to make available our content based on what consumers are used to. So I understand it, but it certainly has felt deflating to the Xbox brand. Just to be honest, that's in my opinion. I feel like it's been like, oh, so Xbox isn't too important. And I have seen many reports, don't know how true this is, that their console sales really have flatlined quite a bit to start the year this year. Like their console sales are not doing great.
One of the most believable claims I've heard.
Yeah.
More
what
believable
game
than
are
the
you
PS5
buying?
Pro at this point.
Like, what are you buying? Like,
Yeah.
when you buy your Xbox, I don't.
Not sounding great.
You're buying games, right? I mean, basically.
Sure, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely buying Game Pass, but like, you know.
Remember the
you're buying
Windows
an Xbox,
phone?
I assume you're already a gamer and you've probably been playing games. So it's like, what on there are you like? Whoa, I haven't played that before.
Yeah.
Besides all the garbage.
Oh, and it's coming to PC 7 months later. Oh, or not PC, but like a PS5.
PS5. Yeah,
but
it'll be there soon.
like.
Yep.
It's just a
Anyway.
They're playing Starfield, guys. I'm back
Oh, my
on.
bad.
They're playing, everyone's playing
I'm being
Starfield.
told.
We're all playing it.
Hang on.
Told in my ear
Live-
right now, getting some
live
information from Phil, not Phil's Bluetooth.
He also talked about an Xbox handheld. He's talked about things he liked about existing handhelds and how a lot of them operate not even as PCs but as consoles. Like he talked about the Lenovo device, the Steam Deck, and a few others things that he likes about them. And if they ever did an Xbox handheld, what that would look like, or how they could team up better with existing handhelds. So he just had a lot of thought. He really likes the advances that handheld gaming has made, which I like hearing that.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to.
And I agree with him. It's provable. You can see.
Totally.
I didn't even know Lenovo made one, for example, and I'm sure it's one of those ones that's like $1,900, but it's amazing. Like it just runs.
The one that Rob Rinaldi from our group just got is awesome, and him and Derek talked about it this past
like
week.
800, I think. I remember seeing that post.
Yeah.
Some of them are just like it's insanely overpriced because I don't know.
They
buy a Windows license for it or something.
Yeah. I think it's like $700 for the newest one, maybe, or one of the newest ones. But so yeah, it's not cheap by any stretch, but it is a really nice, powerful handheld. Better than the original Steam Deck, that's for sure. Which is already feeling old comparatively, which is a bummer. But I still play mine. I've been using my Steam Deck.
I love my Steam Deck. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so then he talked about Xbox being open to hosting other stores on consoles, like Epic Games Store. He said itch.io. I feel old. I don't know what that is. Is that just online?
Itch.io? I think we'll just call it Itch.io.
It's not itch.io? I have no idea. Itch.io? Is that a thing?
It probably is, but I think some people just like smush it together and call it Itch.io.
It's just an online marketplace for games? Is that what it is?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. But anyway, he listed those two, Epic Games and that specifically, as like examples of online stores that he could see Xbox being open to hosting on their platform. He didn't name Steam directly, although that's been brought up in rumors, whether or not they're reliable rumors, whatever. But the idea of a console, Xbox or PS5, being able to allow you to install and play games from these other stores natively on their console, super exciting to me. Do I think it'll ever happen? I don't think anytime soon, but that would be really cool. I could see Xbox leaning into it in the near future. I was like, hey, this is the only console where you can play your Steam and Epic Games libraries. All right. Now you're going to, I think that would be a big
obviously there would be licensing problems with anything that's on a PS5 and PC.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's still worth it because that would be like a small handful of titles compared to thousands of games that are in those libraries.
Agreed. Totally agree.
That one tweet about Steam, though, that was debunked. That wasn't real. Or, I mean, it's real, but the person was just pulling something from like some Skype call or whatever from like 2020 or something. So
yeah, I don't think there's anything legitimate to the Steam stuff, but Phil did himself. You can go read the interview. He did say we're open to hosting other stores. He listed Epic Games and Itch.io. Oh, what a weird name. Anyway,
that's right. Valve has a stick up their ass about this stuff. I forgot about that.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Anyway, and by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if, with the success of the Steam Deck and its follow-up, kind of the OLED Steam Deck or whatever that second one was called, I wouldn't be surprised to not only see them continue to lean into hardware with handheld gaming. I wouldn't be surprised to see them try again with another Steam Box type thing. I know they tried it and it wasn't super successful. It was like these prepackaged PCs that were just ready to work and play all your games, and they never really took off. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them lean back.
I think they're going to take another crack at that too.
A console-like experience.
And you can turn it into a hybrid, like a switch, like a literal Switch. Like where maybe even the machinery is inside the handheld, and then when you dock it, it upscales to 4K.
I could see something like that. That'd be amazing. I could see
Valve. You can get a dock for the Steam Deck now, right?
Right, but to really have
it's projecting the resolution that's in the. It's not really changing anything graphically.
You would have to get a deck with like tech in it, know, to do this upscaling trick I'm talking about, or maybe it's true.
Right.
But like, I think we're a couple years away from that. But I do think that that's like a thing that they're going to look.
Or maybe they'll take it to the next level and have some kind of companion thing where it's like, hey, the handheld isn't powering this. There's actually hardware in this dock thing that you can charge it. Like, I don't know how that could ever work. But something where it really truly is modern feeling, gaming on a TV. But anyway, I could see them doing that at some point. This is us making it up. We don't have any rumors, just like the guy who made up the thing about Steam. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Xbox take a stab at other storefronts on their platform. I think Steam would be the very last one. That's too big. There's too much, in my opinion. That'd be a lot.
They
but
have
who
their
knows?
own brand that they want to protect, Steam.
I think so. I think so too. But I can see Epic Games. They're trying to get their foot in the door. They've been trying with all different kinds
games
of
over there or something,
Good old get GOG on there. I could see those kind of things. I've got some games on there. Anyway,
on GOG for real. Sorry.
Last but not least, he did address the layoffs, and he basically just said it's kind of what we've all guessed. I guess we're just industry geniuses, the four of us. But he just said it's really just due to concerning lack of industry growth and projections. Like basically there's going to be less money across the industry. There's going to be fewer people buying games. There's going to be fewer games being released, fewer consoles being sold. Like all of the numbers are going to be down, and everyone has either already seen it, felt it, and responded to it with layoffs, or are seeing them coming and getting things ready. Like Nintendo, for example, did some restructuring, and it looked like, Nintendo did layoffs, and well, no, they actually had a bunch of contract workers who they either brought in as full-time or they let the contracts expire. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was like with their QA team, their testing teams. So they had a combination of things to kind of these expensive contracts they had with these folks. It was either cheaper to have them as a full-time employee, or we don't need this many and we need to restructure. So like we've seen a lot of companies that seem to be prepping for a little bit of a, at least overall numbers lull.
No, we can't pay the shareholders less, so we better just fire people.
Let's just get people out on the streets,
They can't.
What are we going to do?
Sell
pay
their
the shareholders less
me?
money? What are the investors going to make a less percentage? No, come on.
They have 3 properties in Vienna. They're not just going to give it up.
That yacht doesn't pay it for itself.
It does not.
Don't be
not even just yacht, super yacht, because we got super yachts now.
With the helicopters on them, and then the little yacht inside the yacht.
Oh my God, it's like King Kong and Godzilla.
It's their Godzuki, guys.
That's how they got the idea.
When you said super yacht, it reminded me of when Johnny Depp's on the witness stand and he goes, mega pint? Like, because the guy talks about pouring a mega pint, and he kind of chuckles about the idea of a mega pint.
I love that. Yeah. One of the greatest highlights of that whole clown show.
He's like, did you not like pour yourself a mega pint? And Johnny Depp in his like classic like Jack Sparrow moment is like, mega pint. Okay. I loved it.
That's a unit of measurement, and you're supposed to be educated. That's crazy.
Now, apparently, that is something Johnny Depp has said or called it at some point in the past.
Oh, okay. It might have been in a text.
I love so he gaslit that dude. I think that's even funnier.
I think he did, and I loved it.
It's
like he said.
Awesome.
It's like
he forgot he said it because he was drunk when he said it initially. So he's like,
he forgotten it, but he also could have been setting it up for a great line delivery that he knew would go viral. And find out later. Like, who knows?
I believe that he's a performer enough where he knows what's gonna pop.
Right. Yeah.
Johnny Depp. All right, so there's other headlines, but nothing that really jumped out at me as like, we should talk about like lots of rumors and like people thinking things may or may not be released in certain windows. I figure we'll save that for when we have actual release dates and actual news to talk about. So try to lean away from that unless it's super compelling or hilarious or stupid. Then we might highlight it, but otherwise we'll avoid it. And we'll just close it out with anything else that we haven't talked about that you're playing or watching that you want to highlight. I've already talked about the stuff I'm playing, which is Unicorn Overlord, a little bit of Ronin, a whole lot of Rebirth, and not much else. I haven't really watched
Rebirth all over the place, man.
Rebirth and the Unicorn
so
Ronin.
much. So much.
Anyway, Dan and Kyle, let's start with you guys since you haven't been here. Kyle for a couple weeks. Dan, you weren't here last week. Why don't you guys catch us up on anything that you want to highlight that you've been playing or watching, and then we'll let Jeff close it out.
Hey Kyle, why don't you go first there, guy?
I definitely don't want that to happen.
I
don't know.
I can go.
Yeah, go. Because I'd have to like see what I've been watching because I've talked about all my games. So.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you go ahead?
Well, we talked about Stellar Blade already. Stellar Boob. I mean, Stellar Babe.
Stellar Babe is the one I like. Yeah.
So I did enjoy that though. So I'm looking forward to that. Sandland demo. I played a very small amount. I love the way it looks. It looks fantastic. I mean, just a complete realization
more like
of
vehicle combat and stuff like that than a lot of people thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Does the demo show that at all?
So there's 3 different vehicles that you can throw out in the demo. It has such a Red Ribbon Army sort of like thing, like vibe to it, Kyle. Because like he throws it out and it kind of like poof, and it like pops up like the capsule, like a little capsule, and it's like you're running around. Yeah, you're driving around in the tank, which very Red Ribbon Army. But visually, the detail of Toriyama's art on screen, like with that game, looks phenomenal. I just really love the way that it pops up on the screen. There's a lot of sand going on, so the background's a little kind of like, oh well, I'm looking every direction, it all looks the same, but I just the characters look great. Some cliffs, not Rebirth quality cliffs, but
Okay.
But yeah, some cliffs for sure. The combat is pretty cool. The vehicles, there's one where it's like almost like a little mech. So you're like punching and stuff, and it shoots too, but you're actually like punching and stuff. And then there's like a tank, like an actual main tank, and then this one that's like almost like a bike that has like a gun on it too. But it didn't have like a quest marker. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd like kind of just popped up in the game, and so I was just driving around and shooting stuff, and the characters are talking. There's a lot of repetition with the dialogue, unfortunately. So I don't know if that's gonna.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's gonna be also in the game, just a lot of the same things. So it's like maybe that gets kind of old real quick, but we'll see. I don't know. That seems like that could be fun. It could be a fun game. I don't know if it's gonna be super, super long though.
Yeah.
And maybe that gets boring, but
it's also kind of like nice to see some Toriyama work. Just with his recent passing, just tragic passing. It's kind of one of those things that I am at the very least going to play that demo just to kind of enjoy. His work. Yeah.
It went from like, well, that game's gonna be fun, but I'm not gonna buy it, to like him passing, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy that game.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Yeah.
So,
I am curious about it, especially since the manga apparently is like a really fun read. So
I think
like
the
anime is
the anime
killing it right now.
It's doing really well. So.
It's on
the
Hulu
anime got
and,
really good reviews.
Yeah, it did. It really did. I'm tempted to start it because it's like, oh, it's a new thing. Toriyama, I don't have to jump in from
and there's a game that's
25 years of history or whatever from TV shows.
That's true.
Or however many years, I don't know.
Spend the next 18 months catching up on this series.
Exactly.
No.
Start at the beginning. There's 6 or 7 episodes up on Hulu.
I don't know if you guys have watched it, but during my wife and I's week off, we watched Quiet on Set: The Dark Side of Kids TV.
I binged that in a night. It was the most riveting and like well edited drama mini, whatever you want to call it, docuseries that you can watch like in recent history.
And we're getting a bonus episode.
And we're getting a follow up because a lot of that stuff went viral, obviously, because us millennials. That show is for millennials, bro. So like all of us are online. Some of us, chronically. And so, like, of course, we're going to be the ones to make it trending. No Gen Xer is like watching this going.
Well, we also grew up watching a lot
about this online. Yeah.
There was definitely a lot. Like as the documentary is going, I was like, oh, so this is where I no longer was watching this stuff. But like, yeah, all that for sure. I remember the beginnings of it.
I watched all that.
Show.
The first episode was what covered like early Nickelodeon, which is what we would have been watching. So all that, and then as soon as they dove into like Drake Bell,
and Josh.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know anything about
too
those.
old for that
Sweet
stuff,
Life, Zack and Cody, I didn't watch any of those, so
yeah,
I just had to take in the stories. Even I knew who those people were, though. Like I had
right, exactly.
Some knowledge of that.
But that whole episode of just him sitting there and going over everything, I was like, this is insane.
Dude, when it started with a bunch of online detectives going, oh, some of these scenes were really creepy. I was like, is that what this show is? Like, I just don't vibe with the jokes in the old show and just being accusatory. I did not expect it to go into the rabbit hole of like abuse, and stuff like that, like very explicitly, like and from, I mean, a variety of witnesses and like.
This guy Schneider, right?
Well,
Dan Schneider.
Yeah, he's the creepy guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's actually come out and like defended himself and apologized. Both.
Yeah.
For sure. By the way, I saw this meme that someone created because of all the news around Diddy and Schneider, and someone made this meme of Epstein and Diddy from Shawshank Redemption, directed by Dan Schneider.
I have about 30 of these memes to share with y'all in chat.
Oh, okay, good.
I'll release the Kraken here.
Yeah, put them in the Facebook chat.
That's the girl's face on the freak.
I know, it's horrible. And by the way, the soundtrack is by R. Kelly.
Yeah. I see what's going on there.
It's that meme that I'm gonna. I'm gonna do something. That's what she's saying. Don't worry about it.
Man, because I know I get what you're saying, Jess. Because people are like, oh, like that's like you're just like taking this. Like, why don't you guys have a sense of humor? It's like, no. Take all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes at Nickelodeon with the context of like, like the stuff splatting on a young teenager's face on whatever episode of whatever show. It's like, if you combine the two things, guys, it's like disturbing. It kind of makes sense. Yeah. It's this incredible.
And like one of the actors who's been the most like vocally anti Nickelodeon since she started one of the shows, she's been like online for years talking crap about Nickelodeon, and nobody would like validate it.
The brunette, right?
Yeah, I think so. She has a
lot
podcast
of people just wrote that off to like, oh, now you're not famous anymore.
You just sound bitter. Yeah,
exactly. We as a society do that all the time. You know, it's like, oh, and now you want to talk about it.
But she validated that claim.
For years.
Yeah,
like she validated that joke with the goo or whatever on the face getting.
Yeah, she was on Zoe 101 or whatever. Yeah.
She validated that there was somebody on set like that said that basically said what the implication was with that shot.
Yeah, and that can't.
Like, so there's no like denying. Like if you have witnesses, it's like
Drake Bell or someone like that. There's also been abuse there. So like a lot of things that are popping up with this. That's pretty ugly. Yeah. So.
And there's been like Keenan's finally spoken out because he didn't get a chance to before. And there was somebody else too from All That or whatever. But it was just like the producers probably reached out to their people, but they're just so busy. But they did get genuine, like recognizable faces for the show that I don't know. I don't know what it is about fame and making me trust.
A lot of people talking about this show.
It's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's good that it's out there because that kind of shit's not acceptable. Like you shouldn't be doing anything like that whatsoever with child actors. Like, I mean, just everyone should just respect everyone. Just be nice to each other. Like, and certainly don't take advantage of 101.
That mom who was on there, who was like, might have been a couple parents actually, who were kind of like, they admit they were like fame obsessed, so they were kind of like, I didn't want to say anything because then it would ruin my kid's chances in Hollywood for the rest of his life. I was kind of like, I don't know how I would feel about that as a parent. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
As a secondhand witness, it's not like stuff was happening directly to your kid. But
the like one mom, though, the black kid's mom, who then he did get fired because she kept actually speaking up and be like, what the hell's going on? Like, that's exactly what you need to do. That's a good parent. Like, like that's what you're supposed to do. It just, he got fired, which
but it
sucks,
comes with a price. And then then the actor is like, oh, I'm never going to act again. And then they go into like a depressive cycle, start drinking and all this stuff. So it's kind of like, oh my God.
So you shifted from horrible exploitation and slime on TV to a sand planet. You watched Dune Part 1.
I watched Dune. So
get to the Dune. Wait.
Dune, get to the Dune now. So I needed to I bought the movie on Blu-ray and I tested it to make sure.
Proud of you.
I don't know if it's because of headphones specifically. Obviously, if I was just watching it on my TV through the speakers, I would just crank the volume up. But I try not to do that at night because my wife's in bed. So I put on headphones so I can play
boy.
games and watch whatever. But when I was trying to stream Dune, and I tested it on Max and Hulu, the audio is super low. Unless it's like the parts where the music's really loud and action's happening, then it's like the volume is fine. But there's some quieter moments, and I'm like, I was having I was actually legitimately, I had to turn on the subtitles. I was like, I don't know what these people are saying. Like, so I don't know what's up with that. So I had to buy
some kind of like headphone setting maybe in those apps to like switch.
It may have been the way that it was like broadcasting to the headphones. So like I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm guessing.
Up on my headphones, I went into the settings on the PlayStation. I Googled, and people were saying, like sometimes like certain things on certain streaming services also weren't working for them properly. So I don't know. It was weird. But I bought the Blu-ray. Audio's fine. So I want to give it a rewatch, just to kind of like make sure I fully absorb it. But I turned on
a lot to absorb for sure. So I get that.
Well, yeah, especially when they're talking about things that are like the lingo of the world, right?
Yeah, they use a lot of in-world jargon immediately with no appendices.
Dude, I'll be honest. Rebecca Ferguson carries a lot of jargon with her, and she whispers half the movie.
Oh so yeah, she says the most important like poem or like with the thing, fear is the mind killer. That's like the most and mumbles that entire. It drives me so crazy in the first movie. I'm like,
so I have to watch it with subtitles.
Yeah. Okay, so it's not just me then.
Not just you. By the way, YouTube is like trying to make me fall in love with Rebecca Ferguson. They keep showing me all these clips of her interviews, and she seems like the funniest, like most likable person. I think YouTube knows that I will watch after a big movie comes out. I'll watch interviews with the actors that are in it if I saw that movie. So I'll watch like Chalamet and Zendaya and Rebecca Ferguson and Josh Brolin, all these people. I'll watch their interviews because I'm very interested in that. And the Rebecca Ferguson ones, I'm like, dude, is she like my new favorite Hollywood? She seems like super funny and likable.
Super chill. I'd have a beer with her.
Yeah.
Just to hang out and do nothing.
She even made fun of herself that she can't wink. There's a whole clip of her like making fun of herself not being able to wink. I'm
trying to wink.
She's the best, man. Anyway. Great. Did you like it, Dan? Did you like the movie?
Dune's pretty rad. There's a lot of sand. It's very intriguing. Man. It's very intriguing, dude. The visuals in that movie are insane. They're just really insane. It's so striking. Like just the cinematography, the architecture of things is just like so
everything
cool.
Is so
when they're running away from that after they like save everybody on the spice like mining thing.
Yeah.
And, like they're running away and like the ground's falling out from underneath it. Like it's one of the best shots.
The vibration.
Yeah, it starts with and then they start sinking in and oh god, it's it's incredible.
And like the attack on the city and just all like it's like dark out.
Nighttime attack is just brilliant.
Well, and then the sense of scale, like you'll see something explode way up here, and there's tiny itty bitty people way down here. You know? Like it's just
and yet there was like a cloudiness to it because of
like.
There was a cloudiness to all of it because of the sand and dust that's being
carried out. The spice in the air, the spice melange.
The spice, everyone getting spicy. So that's I'm looking forward to whenever the second one I can watch that.
It's a worse movie. It's all downhill. So
it's so bad. I can't wait.
Oh,
it's basically Godzilla X Kong is better than the movie.
Yeah.
Hey, do we know when that's hitting Blu-ray? Because I want to buy both. That way I can rewatch.
There's no date yet, but you can pre-order on Amazon already.
Okay.
What do you think? Like May or something?
Hey, June.
Yeah.
You think it'll be sooner?
Hey, June.
Later.
Okay.
Yeah, it's WB, right?
The theater run's gonna.
It took them 6 months to put out Oppenheimer, so I'm like maybe 7, 8.
I just thought maybe with like the heavy hitters.
It came out in November. Oppenheimer did on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just before holiday. That was a little different, maybe because of holidays.
It's still 5 or 6 months. You're still right. Yeah. You're still right window.
Yeah, and it might be different because of the holidays too. They wanted to get the movie out. Anyway,
whatever. It does feel like they're pushing it out faster nowadays for every other movie known to man. I'm just saying.
It probably just depends too on like how quickly its theater run comes to an end as other big movies hit end of April, beginning of May.
Like if they're still making hundreds of millions a weekend, it's like
they made a lot of money. So,
they really are.
Yeah, they really did make a lot of money with this movie.
That Messiah's coming, dude. It's got.
And the budget didn't seem bloated for how big of a movie it was. Like when you look at other movie budgets, it didn't seem crazy. If I remember, it was like in the 200 million.
He did some magic with the budget that he was on for sure.
Yeah. Not the creator levels. Like it was still a big budget because the first movie succeeded. So,
what was the creator's budget?
The creator's budget was like really small compared to that, right?
Yeah, it was pretty low.
Hey, that movie looks great. I love.
They turned around. They turned around one of
Yeah.
the best looking movies ever made, like on like an indie.
I
film
forgot that you
budget.
watched
Like,
it, Tim. I'm sorry. Let me look it up.
Yeah,
I love The
that
Creator was a
movie-
really
80
fun
80
sci-fi
million.
movie. I liked
It's
that
so
movie a
it's
lot.
so
80
fun,
million?
yeah.
80 million is super
That's-
low.
All right,
It's
that's
so low.
impressive, dude.
Yeah.
What? 80 million?
Dude, Game of Thrones episode costs more than that.
Yeah.
It was like 100 million by the
Yeah.
final season, I think, or something like that per episode.
Eesh.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, I'm excited for you to see part 2. I do think you'll like it a lot.
Yeah.
My son and I are gonna binge both of them as soon as they're both available.
I'll probably definitely that's when I'll rewatch it a third time or whatever. Right before that, I get the Blu-ray for the second one.
Good call.
And then just basically I went to PAX. Was it last Friday? I think it was last Friday.
About that. Yeah.
PAX East, which goes on in Boston. It's a gaming convention, but they have like board game. They have a whole board game thing there too. So board games are pretty big there. And other stuff. But yeah, I hadn't been in like at least 10 years. I honestly don't remember the last time I did go. It's been a very long time. So it goes on for 4 days. I just went Friday because I drove there. I wasn't like staying in the city or anything like that. But yeah, I basically went because a bunch of streamers were like, yeah, we're going to go this year. And I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to meet some of these streamer peoples that I've, become familiar with and friends with. So it was kind of crazy because you just see these people on a screen. Like I know you guys have gotten together technically, so that must have been like obviously a different energy. Whereas we're just all on a screen here. It's just a different energy, So it's kind of similar to that. But imagine like there being 60 of us.
I'm pretty sure the first thing I said to Kyle and Jeff was like, "Oh, you're real people." That's a relief. Like I really,
right. Would have been funny if like one of us were like catfishing somebody
somehow.
Yeah.
Who's this Mexican lady?
I'm actually a really hot chick.
This
I didn't know if y'all knew that.
Ay caramba.
All right. Well, you can say that, I guess.
But yeah, it was just really surreal just seeing so many of these people that I just see on the screen, and you mean quite a few of them are pretty, I mean, in my opinion, big streamers. So it was really cool. Took pictures.
Cool, dude. That's awesome.
I did get like lost halfway through the day there because like everyone because there were so many of us. You can't have like 60 people like as a crew just walking
that's insane,
a convention. It just doesn't work. So like people kind of splintered off, and at one point I just like was like I was walking the floor and it was the middle of the day, so it was pretty busy down there. There was just a lot of people. It's kind of overwhelming, to be honest, because I've been working from home and pandemic and all this stuff for years now, so I'm just not used to these large crowds. So it was a lot.
I didn't know that about you working from home, by the way. That's interesting.
Yeah, I've been working.
Or I forgot
it.
Sorry, let me
working
rephrase
from
that.
home.
You've said it before. I probably forgot.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, I wasn't until the pandemic started. I was like temporary working from home because of the pandemic, and then it was just like, well, we're all just gonna work from home probably permanently. So
I'll tell you, I think exposure. This is horrible to say, I guess, but like I've been like as a musician since the pandemic. I went back a little sooner than a lot of people, and I'm like currently I'm going to like a lot of open mics and concerts, sharing mics sometimes because I'm a musician and I'm playing on stage. And I'm like it's still no COVID.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me.
Jeff, they fixed it. COVID isn't a thing
anymore.
They
did fix it. You're right.
It was a light thing where they're like, oh, you just split that off.
See,
zero cases.
Funny that you say that.
You stopped tracking it. What are you talking about?
Funny that you say that because quite a few streamers got COVID. So in our group.
I was gonna say, like, you go to a convention like
are where it
that,
spreads the
where
most.
hygiene is.
Oh yeah.
Not that hygiene's bad, but it is. You know.
I think it's just a cough, allergies.
You have to do the head shake like that.
They call it con gunk because it's just.
We used to call it con funk with an F. Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, I used to write about cons for the website that I worked for a while back, and they would just send me for free all the time, and it was like I always got sick every single time.
Yeah.
And and I'm not I'm very germ.
You did like the hand sanitizer
constantly. I mean, I usually have a room. I'm taking a couple showers a day whenever I'm in a big sweaty room or whatever. Yeah. Still get sick because those people are gross.
Yeah. Nerds are gross.
Nerds are gross, man.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really cool.
That's awesome, dude. That's great. Did you get any new swag while you were there?
Swag. I did buy a pack shirt. So
Nice.
it's just everything's so expensive. Like they actually had little pop-up Jesus, retro game like stores, like basically like just little sections of like these people who are selling like a bunch. Dude, retro games are expensive.
Yeah,
they are so expensive. I was gonna nab Pokemon Blue version and $75. I was like, I don't know about that one. So
I feel like there was a window of time as collectors were just starting to be like, we need to start hanging on to some of these.
Yeah.
There was a window of time where like you could have gotten things for pretty cheap. People were just trying to offload it.
Blockbuster was like closing down in mass. That was the time to like pick up all like used games.
And even like on Craigslist and stuff, people are just kind of like, I have this box of old like Game Boy games I don't want anymore, and like there were some treasures to be found.
Sure.
And so anyway, those are harder to find now because people see the value, you know.
I did not buy anything except for the pack shirt because everything.
I don't blame you. Yeah, you can get everything online for cheaper if you really want something. But that's cool. Yeah. That's great that you got to go to that, man. I've never been to any kind of con like that before. That sounds awesome. The only conferences I've been to are work related and not video game related. As fun. Those are not as fun as what you're describing, but still fun.
There's no girls dressed as Tifa at those cons. I'll tell you that.
It's true.
None of that happening.
It's definitely a lot of Tifas. So
I'm sure there was. Yeah.
A lot of networking, a lot of buzzwords about like marketing and solutions and world class and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
SOE.
Kyle, anything else that we haven't highlighted that you wanted to bring up for quick hits?
I mean, not really. I mean, I finished 3 Body Solution on Netflix last week. That's really good. It's really cool. So maybe Jeff talked about it last week. It's
I did.
You did. My wife and I started the first episode and we were like, "What is happening?"
You're gonna feel that way for 7 more episodes. So
it's cool though. I love the vibe. Vibe.
Yeah, it's very fun. And last night I did a double feature. First time watching these both in 4K. True Romance, great movie. 4K rendition is beautiful, absolutely stunning. And then I watched Natural Born Killers, the best 4K remaster I've seen. Period. Whoa. I'm telling you, there's moments where the picture is so clear, it looks like they're using a camera that hasn't been invented yet. That's how good it looks. I was absolutely. I've never been.
Great.
This is the biggest change. Like from watching it back then in the '90s to like watching it now, it looks so crystal clear. It totally blows my mind. It's the best viewing experience.
How did they do that? It wasn't filmed.
I
don't get it.
No clue. Yeah, I've got no clue. Yeah,
I've seen so many of those where it's like an older movie, 80s or 90s, and you see like these super high def versions of it. Like, how did you do this?
Sorcery.
You should see the Apollo 11 documentary, and you're convinced that they just reshot.
Did they
the
get
60s.
They hire like crisis actors?
The 60s,
yeah,
as a decade.
They just said, let's just go to our time machine and shoot this with better cameras.
We gotta go back.
By the way, that's not a great double feature, mind you. True Romance and Natural Born Killers, because those are very toxic love movies. Extremely toxic. It's like not
nobody dies at the end.
It's how to not be in love, pretty much, like these 2 movies.
I like to think that as soon as the second one finished, you grabbed your car keys. You're like, time to go make some bad decisions. Let's go.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna go meet a prostitute. Maybe we'll fall in love, and I'll kill her hooker or kill her prostitute. Or I'm sorry, her pimp. Excuse me.
Go kill some people.
But absolutely, if you'll ever get a chance to watch that, like in off a disc in 4K on a 4K screen, Natural Born Killer, I was totally blown away, and also Robert Downey Jr. being like a coked up Australian journalist in that movie is like top 10 greatest, fun times with that actor. So.
I don't think he was acting.
No.
No.
That was around the time that was after Chaplin, right? So
they were just like, "Oh, Robert Downey Jr.'s in town. Let's just film him while he's doing his thing."
Yeah. It was the first time watching the director's cut too. I'd never seen the director's cut.
Oh, I've never seen that either. I don't think.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I love hearing like the feedback on, hey, I went and watched this in the super 4K, 8K, whatever insane resolution that I've got going on. It's also a good reminder that it doesn't always have to be the new movies. You can go back and really experience some.
It's the old movies that look the best. I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like they do some kind of wizard trickery to make things look better than movies do right now. I don't know how they do it. So.
Love it. All right, Jeffrey, why don't you close us out? Any movies, shows, or games you want to highlight? I know you didn't do a lot of gaming this past week. I think we already talked about most of the games you're playing, but whatever else you want to highlight before we head out.
Sunday and Monday, because literally from Tuesday to Friday, I was out after work.
We get it. You have a
doing
life.
Music and stuff, and it was just pure misery. Every time. No. But like Sunday and Monday, I decided to start watching The Sopranos for the first time. And I'm like halfway through season 1, and the show's good. You know, what can I say? It's good.
Forget about it.
Forget
Dude, there's a couple of characters like Paulie especially and Silvio. Like there's a couple of characters that are just like they seem like they're doing an SNL sketch of that, but then like over time you're like, no, this is really who I don't even think these guys are acting. I think they're just Italian dudes.
I think they're just that person. Yeah. Is Silvio the dude from Bruce Springsteen's band?
I think so. Yeah, the Pompadour.
So he does that show on Netflix where he lives in like Sweden or some shit. I can't remember the name of it. Lilyhammer.
Yeah.
He's the same character. It's just himself.
I'm telling you, I don't think he's acting. I think he's just like, let's do the same thing.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it's kind of crazy watching it with this lens, 2024, and I've seen some of the best television of all time, like in the last 2 to 3 years. It's crazy. And watching this and going, oh yeah, that's right. This was the one that set that pace.
Dude, James Gandolfini is mesmerizing in that role.
Yeah.
The beginning of the golden era of TV, which we're still like in, you know.
The beginning of talking about therapy in like a very normalized sense, because if this guy who kills people has to take it every episode, then you know the rest of us with normal problems probably need to go too. I don't know.
Dude, I really hope you're able to like keep diving into that, because there's some full seasons where like they'll introduce a new character with an actor that you're like, oh, if I knew, I forgot this actor is going to be on the show, and they'll have like maybe a season long or a multi-episode long like arc. That's just so like some of these actors poured it in for this show.
Yeah, they really did.
In there, and it's really, really good. It's really good.
What's his name? Tony Soprano. What's the Gandolfini? So he
in True Romance too. So you and I are having a Gandolfini.
I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was in that. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. He's got that demeanor that's kind of like warm and inviting and makes it seem like a teddy bear. And then at the same time, he can flip a switch and just kind of like Bryan Cranston, basically, in Breaking Bad. Flip a switch.
I think a lot of what we saw in Breaking Bad is because of Sopranos. I think
absolutely so accurate. And that theme song, never skip intro. I'm watching it on Max. Never skip intro.
So good.
It's such a great. It's like top 10 theme song. Like period.
Oh man, Steve Buscemi has a great arc in that too. I can't wait for you to get to some.
Does
of that
he?
Stuff. Yeah.
I didn't know like other actors were like. Of course, it's
Joe
TV show.
Joe Pantoliano will.
Joey Pants. Oh my god, I'm excited.
Joey Pants.
Goddamn you, Cypher. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Ignorance is bliss.
It's so good, man. Yeah, that's all I've been able to make time for.
Yeah.
Because I'm a super successful musician, Jeffrey.
By the way, Jeff just released new music, so go check it out. Jeffrey Michael Woodman.
Please.
We'll give it a listen.
Hi, I'm Jeff, and I'm sad sometimes, and I write music about it. Please go listen to my music.
Your music doesn't always sound sad though. Like you write some bops, and I dig it.
Thanks.
Or some bops,
Yeah, the newest one is very much like hey, what if we just did a police beat over this really, really sad existence of yours? Cool.
Yeah, you and your producer are creating some really fun stuff to listen to, so I recommend that people should go listen.
It's fun to make it, man.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for hanging out. I know it's been a longer episode. It's been good catching up with Dan and Kyle, especially as we've missed having them on here. Not that Jeff and I can't just sit and gab, because we do and we will. But it's nice.
And we did last week. It was intense.
We did. I was like, hey, this will be like an hour episode, right? No.
Whoops.
We got a lot to say.
Whoopsie daisy.
So anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you all for watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.